Boys and girls, ladies and gents, welcome to another episode of Stadium Miguel. It's your favorite Uncle Silk.
It's Dan.
And Delatorre.
Same corner, same time. A few days away from signing day, man. How y'all boys feeling?
There's a palpable buzz around the Gator program right now. So we'll see in about 48 hours how palpable it was, whether it was sweet, whether it was sour. But a lot of stuff to talk about. But doing well, man. It was Gasparilla here this weekend. So some big Pirate vibes.
Big Bender vibes. Yeah. Bender vibes is with Gasparilla. Did you celebrate, Dan? Did you partake in the festivities?
I did. I was all dressed up in my favorite pirate gear and garb. To me,
you put pictures of that on the social media streets? I didn't see any of that.
They're out there. You got to look a little bit.
Okay.
I don't need those making their ways to the internet, or to Twitter.
I found Captain Dan on the Instagram streets.
There you go. Okay.
I got to go find them because I seen the pictures of the cannon. Like the people thought he had a real cannon in the past, and it was like a little baby cannon. So
yeah,
can't trust me, right?
You can't trust.
I think that was an after party vibe. I don't know if Dan made it to an after party this year. As he gets older, I think the after house parties have kind of gone their way.
Well, let me tell you what. So I'll set the scene. So I live on an area called Harbor Island here in Tampa. So it's right next to downtown, and it's right next to Bayshore where the parade is. So I had people over at my place. There was about 20 people that came by. Great energy. It's like one of those brunch type of vibes where you start drinking a little bit early, go over to the parade, and then people came back. Do you guys ever have this situation where you're like, all right, the parade's over. We get back to my place at around 6, and it's like 10:30 at night, and you're like, all right, guys, the whole
Party
place
over.
is cleaned up. We're like, vibes are over, right? You got to go. You got to keep it moving, keep it stepping. We've been doing this for about 12, 13 hours today. So those were the vibes at the end of the night.
You ever seen Martin?
Yes. You
ain't got to go home, but you got to get up out of here.
Yeah. Well, it got to that point where I'm like, I don't want to be rude. And I asked Brooke, I was like, hey, I don't want to be rude, but like, how do I tell these people to like leave?
I feel
like a Grinch, a Gasparilla Grinch.
I tell my friends, man, bro, I'm about to slap some cheeks, man. Y'all boys got to slide. That'd be it.
Who can't
relate to that? Who cannot relate to that, fam? Everybody.
There's got to be,
especially married.
First off, if I'm at somebody's house and we've been doing that all day, Dan, and then they start cleaning, I'm like, all right, I'm either gonna help clean and then leave, or take that as a sign to leave. There should be like a,
you gotta read the room a little bit.
There should be like you're sitting on the couch and like you slap your quads and you're like, well, that should be like, okay, hey, he wants me to get the hell out of here. That's
a universal sign of get the hell out of my house. When you start cleaning, it's like, all right, dog.
So Gasparilla is unique because it really shuts down Bayshore Boulevard and then it goes through downtown. So a lot of downtown is just congested. There was also a Lightning game on Saturday. So I let people, and I want people to hang out, right? I want to have a good time. But so you let people like last beyond like the super bad Uber surge charges. But it got to a point where I'm like, guys, let's wrap it up. So
do your friends listen to the show, Dan?
No, they don't.
Oh, they're never gonna get the messages in.
No, they're never. Yeah, that's right. I'm just gonna clip this part and send it over their way, just as a note for next year. But no, Gasparilla was awesome. It's the first time in a couple years that they had it. Weather was great. It was a little chilly.
I'm there next year. I promise you, I'm there next year.
Hey, we're here for it. We got a spot for you and all. You just got to bring your pirate costume.
The Pirates invades. Silk invades.
Can you wear regular clothing?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Only probably about 5% of people dress up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, for the most part, it's like a little pirate Mardi Gras,
I like it.
But Nick, how was your weekend?
Good. Easy weekend for me. They're going to start getting busy as we move, into February here. Only a couple of weeks until baseball starts, and then that'll be, 5 games a week, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Yeah, baseball team started Friday, so I wasn't able to get out there Saturday or Sunday because of basketball and recruiting, but I'll be back out at a scrimmage on Tuesday for baseball. So they're getting into it. And
hey, man, we're gonna do give me some baseball tailgate information. I want to go down and kick it and do some different this time of the year.
Yeah, it's a beautiful park. It'll be interesting. So last year was the first year, and there were COVID regulations, COVID restrictions. So I don't know. Like the parking situation there is not great. There's not a ton of parking.
I don't think a ton of people are gonna be tailgating, Nick.
No. But I'm just saying there's not enough parking spots for the number of seats at the stadium. And then if you have a softball game going at the same time, I'm not saying it's a big tailgate seat. I'm just saying for a regular Friday night game against a big team, parking gets squirrely. And they're doing construction over there by the lacrosse field where it is. So if you're doing a tailgate, you get there 2 hours before a game, right there in the parking lot.
I'll tell you what, all the listeners that's listening, tell me if you guys are interested in a baseball tailgate, and we'll make it. Steve Miguel, and we'll make it happen. We'll get a sponsor. We'll do some things. But I want to kick it up.
Baseball tickets are like $5, $7.
Oh man,
for general admission.
Right.
Maybe we'll just get a whole crew to sit out in the outfield.
You can sit out in the outfield. They got adult beverages out there, food trucks out there.
How can you have adult beverages at baseball but not football?
You do have it at football.
You just haven't been to the stadium in a couple of years.
I haven't.
Yeah.
Just started.
Beer, wine.
The only game I went to this year was at the Buck Stadium. I just realized I didn't go to Gainesville for a game this year.
Look at you. You're just the team was bad and you gave up on them. Didn't want to drive up.
I checked out. Dan checked out. I checked out. You know,
tough scene.
Yeah, bro, it was rough.
I was up there for the Tennessee game. That's about it. Went downhill after that. Who would have thought that would be the peak of the Gator season?
Only time I was there was either for content with the collective, or and I went to the Bama. The Friday before Bama, I was at Buffalo. Shout out to the GOAT.
We got to get back. Speaking of which, let's get into a few announcements. Actually, before we do that, since we'll get into the show a little bit, our show, as always, is sponsored by our good friend Alan Horn with Alan Horn Insurance, a State Farm agent in Jasper, Georgia, specializing in auto, home, renters, life, business insurance, and retirement planning in Georgia, Florida, Alabama, and Tennessee. Visit him at alanhorninsurance.com or give him a buzz at 706-692-2888. Follow him on Twitter and Instagram at SFAgentAlanH or on Facebook at Alan Horn-State Farm Agent. Alan Horn actually played baseball with a guest that we're going to be having on in the not too distant future, Gavin Dickey. So we're super excited about that. And we always appreciate Alan Horn's sponsorship. So with all of that, Silk mentioned getting back into Gainesville. The Gators do announce that the Orange and Blue game will take place on April 16th. Potential chance of a Stadium and Gale reunion up there.
Let's make it happen.
It's
happening. It's going down. Let's make it happen. We have a tailgate lined up. We were talking the nuances of it, but yeah, we have a tailgate lined up by the great folks of Graham Co. We're gonna do a Florida State tailgate, a UF tailgate. It's gonna be some vibes. April 16th. That's my brother's birthday, man. I'm gonna give him any time as well. But mark your calendar, man. It's gonna be totally free. We're gonna kick some vibes. We're gonna hang out, man. Ain't gonna be no tickets, none of that.
This is the first Orange and Blue game in what, 3 or 4 years, Nick?
3 years. So 2020 was obviously canceled. The whole spring was canceled.
Might be longer than that, considering what Dan Mullen was doing that spring game. It's pretty much a field day.
That was also the regular season, sir. Well, don't get on Dan. Will Muschamp. I mean, there was the one. It was basically like you should just run like a 7-on-7. There was one year where Florida had so many injuries on like the offensive line that they had like 8. They had like 8 offensive linemen. So
I thought it was like 6.
I remember covering that year. That was a joke. But I mean, once Dan had like some, and listen, they're Gator greats, Gator legends. But if you got like a 56-year-old man catching a touchdown in the spring game,
yeah, ain't got time.
Do I need to be there covering that?
Nah. That's what was egregious. That's why I told people when people were like watching this, I'm not watching the spring game, bro. We got 50-year-old retired receivers catching bombs running off the sideline. I ain't got time for that. Clearly, he's not serious about spring, so neither can I. I actually used to go to every spring, even with Muschamp. I went to every spring game. The Mullen area, not Mullen, Meyer area. I went to every spring game. I'm a spring game fanatic. I like to get my lies off, so I need some information.
No, I usually love going to the spring game because April's not usually too warm. In Gainesville, sometimes you get a nice breeze, but it's just good vibes. You know, you
Catch
don't
up
have
the
to worry
guys,
about
man.
winning or
The
losing. You
game.
can just tailgate, hang out.
Yeah.
Always enjoy the orange and blue game. So I'll definitely make sure that I make it up this year for that tailgate with the boys. And who knows, maybe we can get Nick out to dance on some couches at White Buffalo again.
Nick
wasn't
don't strike me as a dance on couch guy. I think that's your vibes.
First off, it was a wooden bench, but the way that people sit on the wooden benches is they sit on top. So now your dirty shoes have been where butts are supposed to be. So I come in after a group was moved away, and I'm not going to sit on whatever they drug in on their feet. So I sit up on the top, like where I should have told you to sit at balls when I made you slide in to that booth at balls.
Whoa. Yeah, you got to clarify a few things.
The Balls bookstore.
Balls bookstore, yeah.
The booth that I made you slide into a Balls bookstore when when you looked at me like I was crazy, you should have sat up on top, like on the top where your back rests. So that's where I was sitting. And Dan's incorrectly calling this wooden bench a couch. Yeah. And then there was no dancing. Dan was dancing.
Yeah.
As he tends to.
Just letting the music take me away.
That's what Dan do at every party, man. That's my wife's favorite pastime is watch Dan dance at parties.
So we'll be in Gainesville. I might start to make my arrangements now to make sure that we got the hotel all situated so we can make it another White Buffalo night. But that'll be fun. Excited to have the
sponsored by Eric. Eric, holla at me, man.
Yeah.
When Stadium Gear come through White Buff, man, it's on the house, man. Take care of us, bro.
Bro, that night was crazy because we got there. We thought we got there early. Me, Dan, Brooke, we thought we got there early, and like the line and the VIP line were already egregious. So I was like,
you can't hype them. We trying to get free shit, Nick. You can't say how like
no,
it's already packed, bro. You can't say that.
Let the story ride out. So I was like, hey, let's go over to Oak. I said, let's go over to Oak. There's not gonna be a line there. Walk in, Eric also. Part of the ownership at Oak, sitting there at the bar. Said, hey, man, we tried to go to Buff. Said, we tried to go to Buff. It was packed. He goes, that's awesome. You want to do shots? We did shots. And then the owner of White Buffalo walks us over from Oak to Buff. And next thing I know, I'm at a not couch, not dancing.
Yeah, Nick's dancing on the couches for the next few hours until we get moved for a TikTok influencer. But that's okay. It was about time that we needed to head out. And, you know, that's when things start to go downhill.
Not bigger than TikTok. That's what I'm talking about. Eric. We're bigger than TikTok influencers, bro.
I don't know. This kid
had time. What?
I don't know. There was something about the way that this kid carried himself.
Nick. I thought it was your town, Nick.
Bro, I'm slipping. Oh, I don't even have a TikTok.
They're getting us out of here for TikTok guys, man. Thought we had the hottest podcast in the land.
Oh, let's see what else. It was also announced today that Florida will be playing Florida State on the Friday after Thanksgiving. It is going to be a 1 year thing, but Florida and Florida State will be playing on Friday this year instead of the traditional Saturday.
I wonder how you guys feel about
what
that.
What in Tallahassee poverty is this? That's my thoughts. Like, why are we playing on Black Friday, man? My wife's not gonna like this.
That'll actually be on my birthday. It'll be who's 34? Herschel Walker, my Herschel Walker year.
Oh man.
I'm currently in my Bird year. My Larry Bird year. My Herschel Walker
I just entered my Herschel Walker.
Who's a good player that wore 40?
Mike Allstott.
40.
Oh,
Mike Allstott. Great.
Allstott is like brutal.
There will be
for a lot of pain.
You're close to your Ahmad Black Bucks. Year. He was at 43, I think, right?
Yeah,
creeping up on it. Hunter Joyer. I think Hunter Joyer was 40.
I'm gonna call him a Hunter
another fullback.
Hunter sounds great though, man. Hunter was a cool cat. I'll take my Hunter year, man. But for Black Friday is nuts. I don't like that setup. It kind of changes your Thanksgiving plans a little bit.
It does.
Hunter Joyer was number 41, so you got some time for that.
So it's coming up, and then you're in your Jackie Robinson year, and then you're in your Ahmad Black Bucks year.
We're gonna take it one step at a time. Don't age me. Like, let's work on 40 first.
To me, Black Friday does not seem ideal. Obviously, driving the day after Thanksgiving is a hellscape. Trying to drive up I-95 or I-75 on the day after Thanksgiving. I think there's like high school football playoffs going on at that time on Friday as well. I don't know if the playoffs
It's like state championship time.
Well, I think it's before.
Near.
I think it's before state championship, because state championship wouldn't matter then, because that would be in like Orlando, or I think they're actually going to be in South Florida this year. But like local high school is playing. The Tallahassee Democrat who broke the news said it's basically just TV driven, ratings driven. So I'm guessing
ACC network.
I'm guessing it'll be an ABC game. 7:30, 8 o'clock kickoff.
Nah, it's probably some ACC network noon shenanigans. FSU is a terrible football team. This is boiled down to like FSU not having a big stick.
That's what I said. You go under 500 4 years in a row, all of a sudden your bargaining power becomes a little bit less. And when the game's at your home.
Yeah, now you're playing with the Egg Bowl boys.
Well, who was it? Steve Spurrier in 1992 that says the Gators don't play any other day but Saturday. So
yeah, they got worked. That was the last time. That was the last time Florida played on a non-Saturday. A regular season non-Saturday game was 92. They lost, I think, 30-7 to Mississippi State. And Steve Spurrier said, "No, not so fast.
Never again." I don't love it. You already have some big games. You have the Iron Bowl that day. You have Ohio State, Michigan that game, or that day, or is that the next day? No, they play on Saturday. Anyway, I know you've got some bigger games already scheduled for that Friday. Don't love it. If it's a 1 year thing, I won't be there. I don't think a lot of people will make that drive up. That's a tough drive considering where Tallahassee is in the state. You have to think a lot of Thanksgiving plans are going to change because of it.
I'm going this year, Dan.
You're going to go up to Tallahassee.
I got to really enjoy why they reel down like this. I got to catch them in Tallahassee where I can go up there, no stress. Thanksgiving, bring the family in tow, throw a nice tailgate, kick my feet up, watch Billy just run up through there, and then head back home.
Another year of watching Odell Hagens and Ron Dugans.
Yeah, get them extensions. Shout out to them extensions, man. Just the poster child of poverty going on in the Panhandle these days.
So that game will be on Friday. Another announcement: the Gator Collective was announced today as one of the title sponsors at the University of Florida athletic department. Some more details were announced in a press release, but congratulations to Eddie, Jen, and the rest of the Gator Collective group for partnering and making sure that name, image, and likeness is at the forefront of the University of Florida athletic department. So congratulations to them and the hard work that they did. I know some people are wondering where that money came from. Those were all private donations outside of what would go to the student athletes. So congratulations to them. Congratulations to the Gator Collective and Scott Strickland for making NIL a big part of the University of Florida. Silk, I know that you have a big event on Wednesday over at the Cush House in Orlando for National Signing Day. So I want to get into recruiting for a little bit before we do bring Gavin Dickey on. But Silk, before we do that, are there still tickets available to go to your event on Wednesday?
Yeah, we do have the tickets available. I do want to give some love to Eddie and Jen and everybody over at Gator Collective. We do some media and stuff with them, man. That's a great accomplishment. I know the hard work. I see it, what they're trying to do, everything they're trying to. It's selfless. It's a selfless work they're trying to do. I know they get questioned a lot. A lot of stuff get thrown their way. They deal with a lot of Q&As, but this is good. I'm glad Florida's backing them and that relationship's happening. Just a great development, man. So shout out to Eddie, Jen, and the whole gang, man. I've been there from the start of it to see it now. Like, it's a lot of work being done. So shout out to Eddie. We hanging out, man. National Signing Day, the Roll Up Network. We're at the Cush House in Orlando, our official studio. We hanging out doing the National Signing Day event. We're gonna shoot some content. Ahmad Black's coming through. I'm gonna say all the Gators first. Get that out the way. I don't want to be getting off people y'all don't care about. So, my man Ahmad is coming through, former alumni and co-host on the Stadium Miguel. All-American, got a brick outside. I ain't got to explain too much. Chris Rainey's coming through to hang out. That's what I'm most excited about in the whole building, man. Rainey's personality is just gold. Being able to communicate with him in the last week, man, just bring energy into your life, being able to talk to Rainey, bro. He's like 10 years old going on 40, man. Like, he ain't aging one bit. He's a kid at heart. Chris Rainey coming through. Brandon Hicks is actually catering the event. So he's catering and hanging out. And then we'll have Kenny Shaw from Florida State, and also Lance Leggett from Miami coming to hang out. We got some few more guests that haven't been confirmed yet, but we think gonna come through. But good vibes, man. If you want to watch us work, you want to check out the Cushaws, plenty of murals in the building, great production going on. It's like coming to watch In Living Color or anything like that. You get to catch out the vibes. We got some entertainment going on, DJ, some live body painting, anything that's going on at the Cushaws. We like to incorporate arts and things of that nature, so and creativity. So we got a live painter, some body paint, and we're gonna be creating college football content at the same time and shooting some stuff, man. So if you're available, you're free on a Wednesday. We have tickets on Eventbrite, totally free. The food's on us, the vibes is on us, the Vices is on us, everything. Roll Up Network.
I love it. Hopefully you have some PTO available, because apparently that's something that people monitor on the internet these days. But
yeah, man. If you got that's the thing too. I never judge people's hobbies, right? People are into any and everything. So I started taking days off from National Signing Day when I was like about 27 years old. Shout out to my man Kev. We used to do that together. Mm-hmm. We used to take off signing days, and that inspired us to start podcasting because, bro, it ain't got nothing to do. I would take a day off to do anything I really like to do. Mm-hmm. You know, like who cares, bro? It's my time off. You want to take your time off to go knit, bro? Go knit. That's what you like to do. I ain't judging you.
I love it. I love it. Well, let's get into some recruiting before we get Gavin on the show. Right now on the On3 database, the Gators rank number 30 in their recruiting class right now, but that will change likely starting tomorrow. So on Tuesday, the day that you're listening to this, four-star wide receiver out of Texas, DJ Allen, is announcing his commitment at about 2:00, and then three-star edge rusher Jack Pyburn out of the 904 is going to be announcing at 3:30. Right now the Gators are battling TCU for DJ Allen. DJ Allen is obviously a speedster, 5'10". Real, just incredible, slot receiver, real shifty guy. He's deciding between, the at-home school TCU and the Gators. So I think that right now there's maybe some conversation of him leaning towards TCU, but I know that the Gators feel confident as well. And then Jack Pyburn, who picked up an offer, on Sunday, who grew up a Gator fan, is choosing between Auburn, Miami, and Florida. So you have to feel confident about Florida's chances there. I know that he's been looking for an offer for quite some time now. Silk or Nick, any thoughts on DJ Allen or Jack Pyburn?
Yeah, I think Allen is going to be, like you said, TCU or Florida. Obviously, TCU closer to home, him being in Texas. I think right now that's probably a toss-up. If he stays, if he goes to TCU, I think it's probably more of a proximity to home kind of deal. But Florida has been recruiting him hard, and I think speed at receiver is probably something you need to upgrade on the roster overall. Before we move on to anyone else, if Silk wanted to talk about him, but I think right now I'd say that's probably a coin flip. But depending on when you as the listener is listening to this, if you're listening to it like Wednesday, it might not be a coin flip anymore. But as we record it, it is in my mind a coin flip between TCU and Florida.
Yeah, it seems like the recurring thing with a lot of people on our board, but I think there's coincidence. Do you guys think it's a coincidence him and Pyburn are choosing on the same day, that Tuesday? Why choose one day early before National Signing Day? You made it to the finish line. Do you think? What's your opinion on it? I don't want to offer out her opinion for y'all. What y'all think?
I'm actually surprised more kids don't announce the days leading up to National Signing Day. I know National Signing Day is a big day, and it used to be a much bigger day than it is. But if I'm a guy that wants a little bit of a spotlight, I feel like I would announce on maybe the Sunday, Monday, or Tuesday before, just because it doesn't get lost as much, right? You get talked about a little bit more if that's what you're looking for. But I think, for Pyburn, I think, I think that he's going to commit to the Gators. I could be wrong, but I think that he's going to commit to the Gators. Why wait if you know your decision? But I guess I understand your thought. If you made it that far, why wait until the day before? But I don't know. but I don't think that it's coincidental that they're announcing a day early. I don't know if it's going to create a steady stream of commitments or not, but certainly I could be completely wrong there.
Yeah, I think I'm on board with you with Jack Pyburn. I think that'll be Florida, like you said, someone who had been waiting on an offer for a while. I think Auburn and Miami were previously the final two schools, but UF was the offer that he kind of always wanted. He'll make his decision. What time did you say, Dan?
Pyburn at 3:30.
Yeah, 3:30. So I feel confident that he'll be there. Even though it's a 3-horse race, I think for him, but I think Florida's feeling confident there.
Let's see. And then we get into Wednesday. We start at 9 a.m. with 3-star safety commit Miguel Mitchell at 9 a.m. Also at 9 a.m. is 3-star offensive lineman Jaylen Farmer. Jaylen Farmer is fresh off of an offer from Alabama, where he did visit this past weekend. He was supposed to be at Mississippi State, but did end up in Tuscaloosa after that visit. Do you guys think he sticks with the Gators, or do you think that he maybe heads over to Alabama?
I couldn't tell you, man. It's Bama, man. It's hard
to pick against Bama.
Right, it's hard to pick against Bama, but I do like that Bama's after a kid like just Jaylen Farmer. Jaylen Farmer, that tape was heavily criticized. I thought it was interesting, even after Billy came back and he weeded things out, he still kept Jaylen Farmer. So the evaluation kind of like stood strong when we kind of get validated when Nick come after this kid, right? Kid has been quiet in his recruitment, so we don't know where it's gonna go. But I hope we can land this kid. But I'm not gonna get too crazy and say we're gonna keep him. What say you, Nicholas?
He doesn't do interviews. I was talking to Corey about him, Corey Bender about him, and like he just does not do interviews with media. Whenever reporters talk to him, it's like through or get information about him, it's like through his head coach. But I'm with you, so. If the goat comes and throws an offer, that validates the initial what's the word I'm looking for? The initial
evaluation
scout that Florida had. The initial evaluation.
Yeah. Nick's giving a pat on the back to John Hevesy for the evaluation. So
no, I'm not. I didn't trust Hevesy. Like Hevesy was right? Like let's keep it. Like Hevesy had a good like that one, but he's missed on so many. I'm like, man, I don't know. Let's see what the new guys say when they get here. But once my man Napier get here, Rob Selden, the guys get here, and they kind of checked out because they kicked them. They got some players out of here. You know, some guys that we think can play football with Gibson, Nick Evers. I ain't saying he pushed them out, but I think he could have put a lot of effort into keeping them. So for Jaylen Farmer to be a guy that they kept in the fold. And then Bama come and offer him this late in the cycle. That's very interesting.
Shout out to Silks boy Hev.
I'm curious to see if he does stick. He's been committed to the Gators for a long time. Let me see if I can get the exact date. He's been committed to the Gators for a long time. It's been many months. It'd be great to get him. He's from Covington, Georgia.
Committed,
guy that was also
September 10th of 2021.
Okay, so about 5 months now, stuck through with the Billy Napier hire. Was looking at Kentucky, Mississippi State. He's been after by a lot of people at Kentucky. The offensive line coach from Kentucky actually just got hired today by Alabama. So you also have to think of that maybe changes some things as well, because obviously he was comfortable with him. So we'll see. So that's the only commitment that the Gators did not get a NIL from that was committed before, or NLI, pardon me, before the early signing day period. So we will be waiting on Jaylen Farmer's commitment at 9:30. 3-star tight end commit Hayden Hansen is going to sign his NLI. 4-star defensive lineman Caden Story, previously committed to Auburn, is going to choose between Auburn, Clemson, and Florida. Right now, it seems like it's a Clemson battle or a Clemson win for them. 3-star edge commit Andrew Savania, I'm guessing, is 11:45, so look out for him. 3-star quarterback commit Max Brown is going to be at 2:00 p.m. Eastern time. And then the two big ones, 5-star linebacker Harold Perkins will be at 2:15. And then 5-star safety Jacoby Matthews will be at 7. I want to get into those last two because I know that that's what everybody wants to hear. Silk, your thoughts on Harold Perkins and Jacoby Matthews?
You said 1,000 names. You want to get to the good ones and then actually. Harold Perkins, I feel, it's a little bit, I think it's a toss-up. Another one of those 50-50 things. I want to say, man, the family, they were deep on the LSU visit. So you just never know, man. It's Louisiana. That pool could be big sometime. But I like the way the mom talks about UF. I think the mom's a big influence on this whole thing. The mom is very strong in with her opinions about pretty much being in his life since day one and kind of, steering this thing. And then outsiders not being an influence on the decision from what she's saying. So if we're banking on the mom, and I think Billy and the guys, man, like just hearing how they sell this whole thing, their pitch is very good. They got a good pitch. The way they line these kids up with film, the way they roll out their presentation with saying what the University of Florida offers is very impressive. So with that, man, I don't know, man. The mom speaks in every interview talking about homie vibes, and then whenever she says homie, she always speaks towards the University of Florida. So I'm just gonna think, man, it's gonna be a roller coaster ride all the way to Wednesday until he signed that paper, until facts go through, however they do it these days, man. But I feel like Harold Perkins is gonna sign with University of Florida, man.
That's a big one.
It would be a big one. I'm not gonna count. Like I said, I think LSU. I don't think he's decided anything right now. I think right when this show airs, I don't think nothing's been decided. But I think the facts and being developed and all that, and the mom wins out in the end. And I think he ends up at University of Florida. We'll see what happens.
What'd you think about Brian Kelly getting LaGritty down there?
Oh man, that Gritty. First of all, like they need to get an old-fashioned 3-inch rule. Yo,
put some space for Jesus in between.
Yeah,
I didn't mean Brian Kelly's weird circle video. They actually had the guy who made the Gritty dance at on campus.
Yeah, no, shout out to that. But we're gonna talk about the 360 spin first. It was nut to butt, and we can't be nut to butt with recruits that can get a little crazy. I heard about Penn State.
Yeah, that's okay. Whoa. For that reason, I'm out.
Yeah. All right, boys. Let's do this. Let's table this conversation real quick. We do have Gavin Dickey waiting to come on the show. So we will absolutely revisit Harold Perkins and then definitely Jacoby Matthews after that. But before we do that, let's give a shout out to our friends over at Homefield Apparel. Visit homefieldapparel.com. Use promo code Stadium and Gale, all one word. Get 15% off your order. Maybe you have a Gonzaga fan in your life. They just dropped a new line. They just dropped a new line of Gonzaga wear. Cincinnati last week. So go visit homefieldapparel.com. Use promo code Stadium and you will get 15% off. So with that, let's welcome former Florida Gators football and baseball player Gavin Dickey to the show. Gavin, how are you today?
I'm good. How you guys doing?
Good.
Marvelous.
Man, it is.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, man. It's a pleasure to have you on the show. You're a guy that I watched a lot growing up. So want to get kind of back to your origin story from Tallahassee. You end up in Gainesville. You were recruited by about every school in the country. So Gavin, how'd you end up in Gainesville and playing for the University of Florida?
Yeah, it's kind of themes. Shoot, it's 20 years now. I'm getting old, man. That's crazy. So I grew up in Tallahassee, went to Lincoln High School. We'd actually had a couple guys from my high school go to Florida at the time. Big ones were Zach Pillar and obviously Kevin Carter. They went to Florida. And from there, I kind of grew up always like a big Gator fan, especially in like the mid-90s. Watching, Fun and Gun, the Spurrier, Danny, and Jacquez or some of the guys, Riedel, Anthony, Jack Jackson. So I just kind of fell in love with the University of Florida at the time. It was kind of crazy though, because my favorite football player ever was Charlie Ward. And then I ended up at Florida. So kind of crazy. I just love, the University of Florida. I had a lot of offers back then. I think recruiting is probably much different now than it was back then. But basically, Spurrier recruited me. He left that year, went to the NFL. Zook came in, and I was just sold on the university. I'd actually went on my visit when Spurrier was still there, but my decision was made up. I canceled my last few visits and ended up at Florida. That's kind of how it all went down.
What were the different recruiting pitches? How does Steve Spurrier recruit you? And then obviously, I guess a new coach comes in, you have to get re-recruited, right?
Yeah, it was kind of a weird time that year. I actually took 3 official visits. Florida, Notre Dame, and Clemson. I think Tommy Bowden was at Clemson. When I went to Florida, it was who was the coach there? Bob Davie, I believe, and then he got let go. This was 2001. He got let go when they brought in Tyrone Willingham. So I took a visit with the old coach, and then Florida was kind of the same way. I went on a visit with Spurrier, and then he left to go to the NFL, and I came in with Zook. Spurrier was more so like either you're going to be a Gator or you're going to be Gator bait. It was, this is University of Florida. You're going to be a Gator or you're going to be Gator bait. It wasn't a big pitch. You know what I mean?
Gavin, you want to be with us or you want to lose to us, huh?
Exactly. That's how it was. It wasn't a big pitch. Kind of the brand sold itself. There wasn't a lot of going around and making hype videos and doing all this stuff that they're doing now on Twitter. And then Zook came in, and it was it wasn't a big pitch. He didn't really need to pitch me on a lot of stuff. But he was more so of a recruiter, salesman kind of guy. It was very different styles, if you would say, for sure.
Hey, Gavin, before we get too deep into like college stuff, let's rewind a little bit. Childhood. Tell us a little bit about your childhood playing sports. Like you played baseball, you played football. Like what was your childhood sports like? Like
yeah, I grew up in Tallahassee playing baseball and football. I would say I was more so of a baseball player over football player growing up. I never really liked football. I never really loved it as much as I would say I did baseball. I just happened to be good at football, and all my buddies played it. It's kind of weird. Like I just happened to be kind of good at it, and all my buddies played it. And along the way, I'd say probably.
I said I could relate to that, man. I was better at baseball. I played football because there's more girls at the game. My friends played, but I was a better shortstop than I was at football. But I quit baseball for the glamour and shit. South Florida, man. But whatever. Go ahead.
Exactly. And I realized probably along the way, I'd say like my freshman or sophomore year in college that I could go to school for free. I can go to college for free playing football. So I kind of stuck with it, and I started taking it, I'd say more serious. I was just playing it kind of like for fun up to then. There were a couple years, like my teenage, middle school years where like I didn't even play football like at all in like middle school and stuff. I just kind of played fall baseball, didn't play football. It's kind of weird. And then I just, I was like, okay, I started getting recruited. In like 9th grade, I was starting on varsity, and I was like, oh man, this could pay for my college. And I knew with baseball, you're not going to get a full ride for baseball. So I started taking it, more serious, I'd say 9th, 10th grade.
Gavin, did you know you were always going to play both in college, or did you kind of accept that maybe you would have to put baseball on the back burner to play football for that full ride?
No, I was kind of sold. I wasn't going to give up baseball.
Hmm.
Florida was actually recruiting me for baseball as well. I'd say independently of football, kind of before, I became like a better football player. So I was, I wanted to continue to play baseball in college. It just kind of, when I got to Florida, things transpired and I didn't get to play my first year. But Coach McMahon, who's still, one of the best humans that I've met to this day, gave me the opportunity to go out and play my second year. So forever gracious and thankful for him for that.
When was the last time you got to see McKeithen Stadium before they tore it down?
Yeah, so I get back to Florida with work every year, really. So I've tried to get back at least once a spring, to scout the Gators, and then I've been to the new stadium as well. It's beautiful, man. They've done a tremendous job down there, just building up the baseball program. I was actually on the team when they renovated the old McKeithen Stadium, so I was a part of the renovation. And then they tore it down and built the new one. So I'm like, man, I'm getting old, man. I've seen the renovations, the tear down, and the new ones. It's crazy.
Well, I don't think either of us will see a new stadium, Gavin. Not to say that we're getting old and our days are numbered. I think they'll just be in that new stadium for a little while.
Yeah.
No, it's nice.
No.
Yeah, it's turned into like an arms race and college sports.
We need to be in the arms race, though. We need to be in the races.
For sure.
That's a good race to be in.
100%. Even the football stadiums are going up and the facilities are getting out of control, and it's trickled over into baseball, and you're starting to see these facilities across more so in the SEC, and it's some sprinkled into like the Big 12. Like these facilities are just they're amazing for college baseball. It's crazy. Yeah.
Gavin, before we get back, I know we've kind of gone in a bunch of different directions here, but a buddy of mine, before I forget, told me that you broke open an aluminum bat. Can you tell that story?
Yeah, so I hadn't played baseball in like 2 years, and like it was I was at practice and I was just out there, I've been playing football, I've been getting strong and stiff, really, is what it was. And I was just taking like early BP one day, and they were like, I can't even remember the brand of the bat. I don't want to crush them anyways, but I was taking BP, I was swinging the bat, dude. And I took a swing and I actually cracked two. That one was in BP, and then we're playing, I think it was like FAMU in a midweek game, and I hit a double into like the left center gap, and I thought I hit it pretty good, and like I'm running to first base, and I'm looking, and it's like I have half a bat in my hand, like how you would break a wooden bat. Like I was running to first base with a half a metal bat in my hand. It's crazy. Coming to think back on it, like how the heck did that even happen? Yeah, so.
So you gotta work on your lies, bro. I would have been. How
too many people saw it, right?
I would have sold that one, bro.
Yeah, but that's like a fishing story. Now that you've had some years pass, now the people that were there, they'll probably just remember it however you tell it.
Right. Spin that a little bit.
Crazy.
I'll tell I hit a home run, snapped it like
I actually have a picture of that somewhere. Like
nice.
I've hit the ball on an extension, and you can't really tell unless you really look at the picture. You're like, there's only half a bat there. Like the barrel's gone. It's a pretty good picture somewhere.
I got a question, Gavin. So I've been golfing with my man Chris Leak a few times. Right? We have this yearly golf tournament. This is probably like our second year not doing it. But we used to do this yearly golf tournament with Chris Leak. Very meticulous guy, attention to detail. What was it like playing with him? How weird was he in the locker room? He had golf balls with his face on them out there, bro. Like we was playing golf. Shout out my man Leak. Like that's my guy. Like all jokes aside, I like Chris Lee. It's my dude. I
Right.
love doing content with him. He always come through for us if we ask him to slide. So great dude. But we was out at the golf course and like I'm looking for my ball. I found a Chris Lee ball and he had his face on it.
So Chris and I were actually roommates back in the day. You know, they try to generally put position guys together. And obviously Chris was the starter, I was the backup, and we would be road roommates. And the only thing that like I really remember was like he always used to play video games, right? Like the NCAA. I think that's what the game was back in the day. I was never big in the video games. And he, like, it would be like Friday night, you know, we'd be in the hotel, we're playing the next day. And I can remember him just like staying up for like hours playing the game, but it would take him like, you know, hour plus to like start the game. And I would be like, you know, like third week or something on the road. I'm like, Chris, like, dude, what are you doing? You know what I mean? And he's just like, dude, he would input like the week's plays into the game, like the plays that packages of plays that were running like the next day. He would like input it into the game to run the plays before we would start playing on Saturday. I was like, oh, okay, that's kind of smart. Yeah. That's kind of like one thing that I remember just like being his roommate, you know, he would put the plays in before he would play the game and then he'd run the plays during the game. It was kind of cool, I guess. Video games. Yeah, I remember that.
Shout out to him. He's all right. He put his face on golf balls, but man, he also like okay, so we got there like 6 a.m. or some crazy time. He practiced like just driving for like an hour before like the tournament started. I'm like, yo, Chris, this is really just like we just shooting the shit out here, bro. Yeah. Like we came here to vibe. we didn't really come here to like win this thing, but he came prepared.
You came out to vibe. Chris came out to dominate the competition, and you dragged him down.
For sure. He came to win. Yeah, he's a very meticulous guy.
He was inserting his plays, man, for like an hour. Yo, bro, what are you doing?
Yeah, you could tell like right away, even just like with his throwing motion. I had never seen anybody just like the consistent. It was a unique throwing motion, but it was like the consistency of his motion, the ability to just like, I guess the word scouting terms, just like the ability to repeat was impressive. Like he would always consistently repeat that same arm motion over and over and over again, which allowed him to throw. I mean, I've never seen anybody with the ability to spin
and that
the
translates
ball
to golf
consistent spirals, man. Spiral after spiral. It could be
the best spiral ever. Who's had a better spiral than Chris Lee in the game of football ever? Thanks, pretty.
I remember him like.
We gotta get back into like about Gavin Dickey in a minute, man.
No problem, man. Whatever you guys need, for sure.
Yeah, we vibing.
Gavin, talk to us about your time playing at UF. What are some of your favorite football memories that you have?
I just remember, you know, the first time running out of the tunnel. That's probably, you know, my most favorite memory playing there. You know, I didn't play a lot in football, but the times that I did get to play, you know, just the first time running out of the tunnel is in a game is unbelievable because, you know, you go on your visits and you have practices and scrimmages and spring game or whatever, but you come out on the field and you're in the stadium, you never really realize it until how big it is, until you come out of the stadium that first time in a game and it's 90,000+ and it's filled up and it's like you run out. And I just remember I felt like my heart was beating through my pads and I was like redshirting. I ain't even playing, you know what I mean? And you just run out, you feel like you're gonna hit your head on the roof, man. It's like this is it. Like this is big time ball. It's crazy. Like you're going 1,000 miles a minute. It's unbelievable feeling. It's unbelievable rush. It's something that it's hard to even put into words, the feeling of running out on that field the very first time in that orange and blue. It's crazy.
Gavin, you were one of the guys. I mean, that it's happening a little bit more frequently now, but you're one of the guys that also played beyond just quarterback. You were
Right.
used as a wide receiver. You were used as a running back. You're using a lot of different packages. I mean, is that something that they told you? I mean, you know, when Ron Zook and Steve Spurrier at the beginning were using you, or is that just something that, you know, they knew you were athletic and they just wanted to get the ball in your hands, or how did that transition go for you?
So over time, I guess it just kind of transpired once Coach Meyer arrived. I mean, I was just basically like just there, you know, until Coach Meyer arrived, and I think that year we were going to Omaha, College World Series of baseball, and Coach Meyer arrived, and he kind of like met with everybody, and I was one of the last guys that he met with that year, just because I was playing baseball, and I was honestly like I just really was kind of like at my wits' end, kind of with football. I was just tired. I was doing well in baseball. I just kind of wanted to focus on baseball. And I basically told Coach Meyer that, and he was like, "Well, you know, just give me 1 year. Like, what do you want to do?" I was like, "Look, man, like, I'm athletic. I can run. Like, my parents been driving down here for like 2, 3 years every weekend to watch me play, and like, I'm not playing, dude. Like, I was like, dude, I'm run down there, kick off. Like, I don't care. Like, I just want to run down, get a couple grass stains on my pants, and I'm cool. Like, whatever the team needs." And he was like, "All right," and he was just like, you know, "We'll switch you to receiver. We'll get you in some sets." And then they put me on like kickoff return, and it was fun. Like, you know, it was I was grateful that, you know, he didn't have to do that, and I still remained like backup quarterback at the time, and you know, it was fun. I got to run down. I played some receiver. Was back deep on kickoff return, which is an adventure in itself. But yeah, that's kind of how that transpired over the years.
What was it? What was the? Go ahead, Nick.
What was what was the most difficult thing trying to balance playing two sports? I mean, they're both full-time jobs.
Yeah.
And then you're a student too. So you had 3 full-time jobs.
Yes. So work was definitely one of the big ones. Rest, taking care of your body, and just sacrifices. You know, like there wasn't a lot of time for like parties and doing all that stuff while I was in college, because in the fall, you know, we go to practice Monday through Thursday, and then, you know, everybody else on the baseball team, they're getting baseball reps in the fall while I'm playing football. So after football practice, I have to go to the cages to work on my swing, because if not, I'm going to be, you know,
Right.
so many
look crazy when you show up in the spring.
Yeah, you're gonna look nuts.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
look
so I have to go
nuts.
work on my swing in the fall after football practice, just to, you know, repeat the swing and try to catch up on reps, even though I'm not, you know, saying live arms, just the ability to just repeat the reps. And then then I have to go home after that to, you know, do homework or projects or whatever is due at the time. So it was just time management. I learned a lot about just like responsibility, time management. You have to take care of your body, rest, relaxation, you know, rehab, the whole deal, the ice tub. That was, you know, some of the biggest things that I took away from that, and still helps me in life today. Some of the biggest lessons that I learned.
Give me a lesson you learned from my man Ron Zook. The Zookster. Great recruiter, by the way, man. I don't mind. The Maya era won because Zook recruited so well. So I have no beef with Ron Zook, man. He served his purpose at the University of Florida for sure.
Lesson that I learned.
Well, give me a Ron Zook story. You ain't gotta get like too deep, man. I know Ron Zook wasn't the greatest coach, so you might not have the greatest story, bro. So you actually got fired.
I don't, you know, I don't want to come here. I don't want to bash anybody.
No, do it. We got time.
No. I would
like, no, please.
I would say the biggest lesson that I learned from Ron Zook was I grew up a lot, became a man at a young age, at 19. And one of the biggest things that I learned was just control what you can control. That was probably the biggest one, and life isn't always fair, or I don't even want to say fair, but just like control what you can control and don't worry about the outside. That's one of the biggest things that I learned.
That's life, bro.
Yeah,
That is life.
and I was 19. I was 19 years old, and it was a valuable lesson that I kind of struggled through for a year or two, just to process it. And I just kind of over time, that's a valuable lesson. I look back now that I grew up. Like, I had to grow up fast and adjust, and luckily I was blessed with the ability to go play baseball, and that was my outlet. Today these kids, they just hop in the transfer portal and they they go play for somebody else. Back then it was you're gonna sit a year. You're gonna lose a year of eligibility. You're gonna sit. You're gonna different age, different time. It was just a different era, I guess.
For sure it was.
Yeah.
Gavin, before we get you out of here, I want to talk to you a little bit about what you're up to now. So, after you leave Florida, you play some professional baseball. Are you still, you're still scout with the Astros? Is that right?
Yeah. So
Okay.
I've been with the Astros for I think like 10 and a half years now. I got drafted, played in the minor leagues for a few years, ended up hurting my quad. I used to be fast, like I could run. And then I hurt my quad and I wasn't as fast anymore. So when your best tool kind of, goes away, it's a struggle. And I was like 26, 27, I believe. I played some independent ball, got back in, played with the Braves for a little bit in spring training. And then I started scouting. I think this was like 2011 was my first year. So I went out and I was in Houston. Actually, I was the area scout in Houston, running around out there. And then I moved to Atlanta after 1 year in Houston, did some scouting in the Atlanta, North Florida, South Alabama area. Then from there, I just kind of I got promoted. I was cross-checking the southeast of the country. And then from there, I got promoted again. I was doing just like national cross-checker, which is basically covering the whole country, seeing like the best players in the country, and then some Puerto Rico. And then I sprinkled in some international stuff, seeing some Cubans and some Latin players in the Caribbean. And then I just got promoted again to special assignment scout, which is basically a lot of the same stuff that I was doing on the national side with more of a larger focus on international scouting, splitting duties between international pro and the domestic draft.
Well,
Takes up a lot of time.
It sounds important as hell, man. Congratulations, bro.
No, I appreciate it.
Big win.
I appreciate it.
Having covered
it's a fun job.
Having covered Florida baseball since 2013, there is a scout uniform that I wonder if you guys talk about. Everyone's in like Nike dry fit or like Lululemon dry fit pants, sneakers, and then there's a team logo polo, but then you've got the 3/4 because sometimes it's chilly, and then a hat. I've like worn something similar and had like dads come up to me and be like, "Hey, my son's this," and I'm like, "Hey, man, I'm just a reporter. I'm not getting your son drafted. I'm sorry."
It's the Cole Hans, it's the Lulu pants, and the polo.
See, now that's how you know Gavin's at a different level. I'm talking about sneakers, and he's got some Cole Hans on. I'm like, sorry, they should have looked at my shoes and known that I was a reporter, and not with an MLB team.
No, that's the outfit for sure, man. That's definitely the outfit. Closet. That's what I
awesome.
have in the closet. The full deal.
That's the uniform. It's the unspoken
Yeah, that's
uniform.
Every day, for sure. For sure.
I love it, man. Well, Gavin, it was a pleasure having you on, dude. Like I said, you were one of those guys that I watched growing up, and it's awesome to have you on and to see where you've blossomed in your career. You were one of the first people that I remember doing the dual sport thing and doing it well. So, man, it was a pleasure to have you on today. For those that want to keep up with you and everything.
Hold on,
that
I gotta ask the question
ahead.
that the fans really want to hear, Dan.
Yeah.
Gavin, who had the best hands on the team? Like, who's knocking people the fuck out?
Just like fighting hands?
Yeah. Not catching the ball or nothing like that. Not football related. Did we lose you? He's like, I got a back signal. Silk. Convenient.
He's gonna come back in a second and be like, man, and then he's gonna finish up a story. Oh man, we lost.
Okay.
Oh, there he is.
Okay. No, I don't remember like a lot of fights really. Like I can't even remember one really now that I think about it. Like
it's unfortunate.
On the
He
field.
was there a year before Percy.
I've heard.
That's why we wasn't winning games. Y'all wasn't beating nobody up.
Yeah,
that's why y'all wasn't fighting, bro.
Yeah, I can't remember any fights. Like I remember getting in a fight in a baseball game, but I don't remember any fights like football. That's crazy now that you say that.
Yeah,
we would have fought a lot more.
Y'all boys were soft, man.
I don't think. I remember like some coaches, some almost coaches fight, players, coaches, but no, I don't remember any hands getting thrown.
Do say more. Where you
at? Yeah, I don't remember like it's hot out there in the summer, man.
Right.
Dudes get attitudes, 2 days, it's hot.
You guys were peaceful though. I like it, Gavin.
Yeah, I don't remember any, man.
I'm not mad at it.
It's different now. Yeah, it's the respect is different now, I guess. It's crazy. I don't remember any, man.
What can we follow you at? Tell people where they can follow you at.
I'm not a big Twitter guy, man.
Me neither, man.
I have this Twitter account. That's it. I don't even know my Twitter handle. I mostly use it for just,
you gotta be happy, bro. You sound so happy, dog.
Work stuff, man.
People that don't know, listen, Dan, you laughing, but people that don't know their Twitter, people that have no idea what their Instagram ad is, like those are the happiest people, bro.
I mean, you heard how great his life is. I mean, just think about the promotions he's got.
I use it more so for like work stuff, man, like scouting players.
You happy as shit.
The best part is like, honestly, guys, like the best part is like scouting guys who go on to have like big success in other sports. Like I remember going and scouting like Justin Fields and AJ Brown. The Ely kid at Ole Miss. Like going and watching those guys play baseball was probably some of like the crazier things. Like you watch these guys on a baseball field. And
you never think like what if these guys stick to baseball though, man? Like these incredible athletes, bro. Like we just don't fuck with baseball like that, bro.
If you guys got a second, I got a funny story for you guys.
No, get it off. Yeah, I'm here for funny stories, bro.
So it's I can't remember the year, 2016, 15, 7, somewhere around in there. And I'm in Starkville, Mississippi, and I'm watching Starkville High School, and I'm watching a kid named AJ Brown. My guy in the area, he wants me to come cross-check this guy, AJ Brown. So I get to the high school. It's like an older high school, Mississippi, and like I'm looking at this kid, and he is a monster, right? He is huge. He's like 230, 240, right? And like he's has some ability on the baseball field, and but he's just going through the motions. Like you can see the act, and I don't really know anything about him. Other than like he's going to Ole Miss to play football. So after like he takes BP and stuff, my area guy at the time, he's like, "Hey, I want to introduce you to AJ." So I'm talking to AJ and I'm asking if he really wants to play baseball, and he's like, yeah, he's giving me like the stock answers, right? Hey, sir, I want to play baseball. I love baseball. It's my number one. I'm like, dude, cut the crap. Like, shoot me straight. And my buddy, my guy, he's like, hey, man, look, this guy played football in the SEC, and like his whole guard let down at that time, right? So now he wants to talk. He's like, I don't know, man. Like, I really like it. And I was like, I look at him and keep in mind, he's like 230, 240. I'm like, going to Ole Miss, I was like, you're gonna put your hand in the dirt, like you're gonna play tight end, son.
For sure.
And he's like, you way, I ain't playing tight end. You crazy? I'm like, dude, you gonna play tight end, right? So he's like, so fast forward, like it's either that fall or the next fall. I'm in my backyard. I'm grilling. I got the game on in the back. It's like Saturday night, and Ole Miss is playing. Here, like he gets behind the defense, and I look at the TV, and it's like AJ Brown goes for like 70. Dude, his body, he lost like 20, 30 pounds. I was like, oh my God, I thought like he was gonna play tight end, and he's like going off in the SEC. I'm like, oh well, I missed on that one. That's probably one of
It might have been that conversation with you though. You might have scared him to lose some weight.
Right.
In my defense, he lost like 20, 30 pounds.
Hand in the dirt in the SEC is scary though. Like you gotta lose weight.
If you would have,
because that ain't for everybody.
Like 240, 230 as a, talking about he's a receiver. Like, you can't run. You're running.
I'm trying to do my math here. Did you play with Cornelius Ingram?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So what was that like? You both played baseball, right?
So he didn't play Florida when I was there. He played in high school, and I heard he was really good in high school.
Right.
Tate Casey came out for a little bit on the baseball team when I was there.
Right.
He was a pitcher from, I believe he was from Texas, but it was
He had some sauce. It was a lot of bullshit. He had some sauce.
I think he was just too far removed, and then he was doing a lot of
he ain't had no sauce.
No sauce.
No sauce.
You just get it's a different workout. You get stiffer, man. Tate
was tossing watermelons over the plate.
We got to get Tate back on the show. His version of the story is a little different.
I didn't say that. I did not.
Tate and I were having we had a nice steak dinner at Hall's in Columbia, South Carolina.
Yeah.
Tate had a couple bourbons. He started telling about how good of a pitcher he was.
I heard he was good in high school, but
because you knew him, and you're probably remembering that story that Tate told you that I just heard.
That was one of the other bats that Gavin broke.
Yeah, Tate.
You get stiffer, man, working out. It's different. The muscles tighten up.
Yeah, Tate got stiff. He was tossing watermelons across the plate. Man.
He made the right decision. He had a good career. He made the right decision.
Oh man. Well, Gavin,
that's the most politically correct way to say it. Tate made a good decision for himself playing tight end.
We'll just say Tate didn't have no sauce.
He's like, I saw Tate throw a couple live bullpens, and let's just say he was a good tight end.
He made the right choice.
Well, Gavin, dude, we had an absolute pleasure having you on. We definitely want to get you on again in the future, man. We'd love to hear some more stories from you.
For sure, guys.
Follow him on Twitter at @GDickey_17 if you want to catch some more insight on Gavin's life. But, man, we really appreciate having you come on this evening, and we'll look forward to talking with you in the future.
Appreciate it, guys. Thanks for having me. Take care. Go
awesome.
Gators.
Go Gators.
Go Gators, man.
Awesome.
That was fun.
Yeah, Gavin Dickey, man, just a great guest, and we're going to go from one great guest to another. But before we do that, let's give a shout out to our friends over at Game Time Sidekicks. Visit them, GameTimeSidekicks.com. Use promo code STADIUM for 10% off of your order. A number of you reached out last week and said that you ordered some things, so go check them out. Over 350 schools in the NCAA. They've got a bunch of other sports, a lot of great products, vacuum sealed. I don't drink out of anything else.
Show them the cup.
Guys, show them the cup, baby.
Oh, got that green screen.
Yeah. So shout out. Say what?
Your green screen's a little weak, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah,
you glitching a lot.
I got to get a new one. Well, it's not a real green screen, so we're just taking advantage of technology.
The myth, the legend, The
There he
homie
is.
Guys.
Trey Burton, man. Welcome to the
My
State of
guys.
Miguel, man. How you feeling,
What's up,
man?
bro? I'm good, bro. You all right?
I'm feeling good, man. I'm glad you're here, man, hanging out with us, man.
Thanks
It's
for the
good to
invite,
have you
man.
on.
Appreciate that.
So Trey,
A heavily
obvi-
requested guest.
heavily
For
requested. We get you every time we ask people. They always say Trey Burton, and I know we've gone back and forth for a few months now, so it's good to finally get you on the show. Obviously, an illustrious career at the University of Florida, a great NFL career as well. So we're excited to get to know you a little bit more. But Trey,
Hey, for the record,
yeah.
for the record though, this is the first time y'all invited me on here. You know what I'm saying? So like,
Oh, that's
don't
on
blame,
Dan.
don't blame me. Don't blame me for that.
That's on Dan.
Don't blame
Yeah,
I
me.
think
Dan's
Dan-
getting called
Dan-
out here.
Hold on one second. Dan's been lying in the meetings and shit. 'Cause,
Yeah.
like I've asked,
Get
like,
outta
what's
here.
up with Trey Burton? Oh, he hasn't hit me back. So
Well, we're
Well,
here. We're here. Why
we're
live
here,
in the
man.
past, Silk? Why live in the
know.
past? You know? Trey, man, really, excited to chat with you a little bit more. Grew up in Venice, obviously a great all-around athlete. Came to the University of Florida, as a quarterback under Urban Meyer. Obviously made your time, known at the University of Florida and in the NFL as a tight end. But Trey, tell us a little bit about your story. When did you start getting into football, and when did you know that football in college would become a reality?
Yeah, man. I would say, I started playing football when I was 5. I played about 3 years of flag football, and then went up through the Pop Warner ranks. Always had to play up because where I was at in Pop Warner, you had to play. It was all based on weight, So I was always playing, 1 or 2 levels up, depending on how old I was. And I remember my 7th grade year was the last year of Pop Warner because I was like 175, I think was the weight limit for me. And I remember I'm in 7th grade playing with sophomores in high school. They're older lighters is what they used to call them. And I was playing, like I wasn't on the sideline, I wasn't on the bench. And I think from then on, I knew like I had a chance to play ball at the next level, really just speaking about high school, because my high school has a pretty good history of sending guys to college. And so, boom, I have to skip my 8th grade year because I weigh too much. I go into my freshman year, and like right off the bat, after like 2 or 3 summer workouts, or I guess it'd be fall workouts, he was like, my coach was like, yo, you're going to start at safety for us on varsity. And I'm like, what? And he's like, yeah, we think you can play. And that year, our first game of the year was Lakeland. And that was when Rainey, Pouncey, Ahmad Black, all them boys they were all seniors, so they're top 2 or 3 in the country, or in the world, in the country at the time. And so I'm back there shaking, Rainey's out there he 380 yards on us. They had a dude that went to Alabama. I can't think of his name. He was a fullback. He was really a running back, but he played fullback for Rainey, who was just a dog. But I had a decent game. I made a couple tackles. I had a pick. And so I think from then on, I was like, man, these guys are going to the best school in the country. I have at least a chance to play somewhere. And so I think, from my freshman year on, I knew I had a legit shot.
I was the same. No, don't worry about what Rainey did to you. I was the same graduating class as them at St. Thomas, and we watched Chris Rainey do that to St. Thomas. Chris Rainey did that to everyone.
He was
Everybody,
nuts,
Sophomore year, junior year,
Everybody.
senior year.
I'm gonna tell you, man. Chris Rainey, I don't care who you are, man. If you follow high school football, one of the greatest high school careers I've watched. Just following it, man. Chris Rainey's legendary.
But bro, they'd have both the Pouncey brothers on the same side of the ball. They play guard and tackle, and they would just run counter, and they'd be pulling
and then you got a track star that could run a 500 meter and disappear. Like it was a crazy setup they had in Lakeland, man.
They had a defensive tackle, I think, from that team that came to Florida. He didn't pan out. Paul
John
Wilson
Brown, right?
was on that team. Yeah, John Brown. Yeah.
Yeah.
Paul Wilson was on that team. I know the
Steve
guy.
Wilkes, Ahmad Black.
All right, let's not make Lakeland too happy this
year. I mean, they had 7 cats go. They had 7 cats go to Florida that year. So that's pretty impressive.
Right.
How did safety come about? Was that just because they had an opening on the team or on the roster that year?
Yeah, I think so. And then and I wasn't afraid to throw my stuff in there and hit somebody, in like a crosser or anything like that. So I would always, first couple of days I'm in there trying to smack people as hard as I can. And they're like, oh, well, he's probably too small to play linebacker, so put him at safety. And then, long story short, the last game of the year, we were 1-8 at the time, 1-8, barely getting guys to come to practice. They call it like the Turd Dynasty back at my high school. It was horrible. Last game of the year, the coach goes, hey, we're gonna put you at quarterback this week. we're gonna see how it goes. And that was against Naples High School, who had like Nick Alajazian, had the cat that went to Wisconsin, the running back. I mean, they were dogs too. And like I said, held my own. And then from then on, my coach was like, "Hey, we're gonna keep you at quarterback. We're gonna send you to Florida, do a quarterback camp there, send you to Florida State, go to USF, and basically learn how to play quarterback. From then on out."
Trey, were you mainly being recruited? I mean, obviously, I know you signed as a quarterback to the University of Florida, but were most schools recruiting you as a quarterback, or were a lot of schools saying, "Hey, we want you to do that"? But obviously, you're super athletic, played a bunch of positions, in high school, to say, "Hey, would you keep your mind open?" Or how did that conversation come about?
I think the majority of them wanted to tell me what I wanted to hear, and I wanted to play quarterback. You know what I'm saying? And so, I mean, you don't realize that then, but everybody's like, "Oh yeah, you can do this, you can do that." And so, but then at Florida, Brantley was the only scholarship quarterback on the roster. So like I'm like, oh well, damn, well I'm at least going to be the second string dude, worst case scenario, and that was obviously my dream school as well. So it was a no brainer for me.
That what was that recruiting class at the time? 2010 was
best
the
ever,
the greatest recruiting class of all time. Ronald Powell, yourself, Dominic Easley,
Floyd
Dunbar,
Elam, Sharif Floyd, all the boys.
Yeah. What was
Right.
what was that? What was being part of that recruiting class like? Did you guys talk to each other as recruits? I know that like Floyd and Easley committed like at the not the Under Armour game, the All-American game. But did you know that like, hey, we're putting together something special in this recruiting class?
Yeah, I mean, I knew we had some ballers coming in for sure. I know like whenever I committed I was the second guy to commit in my class. Ian Silberman was the first guy to commit. Out of Jacksonville. I forgot what high school out of Jacksonville, but it was our sophomore year. So we're graduating sophomore year after spring ball and sophomore year going into junior year. And so like I knew as a quarterback, like my job was like, hey, let's try to recruit as many guys as we can. Ian was doing the same thing, from the Lions standpoint. And so yeah, like whenever we knew there was a kid on the fence, or there's a guy that we were looking at, like you reach out to him and say what's up. And whenever you get a chance to connect, whether that's at a camp or like I played Jalen Watkins every year in the playoffs, at Cape Coral. And so, so we would just connect, from that standpoint, on social media, text each other every once in a while, but we knew we had something special. And we knew we had a chance to be really good.
That's early days of social media.
Yeah. Real early for sure.
What was it like when, I guess, like signing day comes and did you guys know like, hey, we have a chance to be special, or did you still have that mindset like, hey, it doesn't matter what the stars are, you have to come and you have to earn it and you have to, put the work in?
I mean, I don't think you really realize that until you actually get on campus, and get into meetings and your first team meeting, and like you're sitting in the back row and Urban's just going ham on somebody, and you're like, damn, like that's not the dude that was recruiting me, a couple of months ago that was sitting in the living room, But yeah, I think everybody has that culture shock, moment, like welcome to college football moment, where they don't really care about the stars and none of that stuff. But I remember for me, the first time I'm on campus, I just moved in. The next day, early morning, we're doing like measurables, height, weight, not necessarily like speed stuff, but just like height, weight, and that type of stuff. And Urban walked in, and I'm standing here. I got Josh Shaw on my left, and I got Ian on my right. Right. And so we're standing there and we're talking, and Urban walks in. He's like walking fast, and we all like, "Oh, coach, what's up, man? How y'all doing?" And he goes to Ian, he says, "You're not big enough to play offensive line." To Josh, something about like you're not fast enough to play safety. And he said to me, he pointed to me, he says, "You can't throw. I hope you guys weren't recruiting mistakes." And turns around and walks away. We were like what? What is this dude?
I like psychology is what's going on there.
Totally different guy
Trey.
that was in the living room telling everybody what they wanted to hear. You're 24 hours into it, and wait, I can't throw anymore. What do you mean?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Hey Trey, what was your perspective on my man Tim Tebow on your recruiting visits? So you come to University of Florida on visits. You're playing a little quarterback, a little wildcat thing. You're doing your thing in high school, so I know you had to like interact with him a little bit. What was that interaction like from a recruit perspective?
I had no conversation, no interaction, none. Nope. He was gone when I got there.
Oh, he was already gone when you got there?
Yeah.
Oh,
he was.
My years is off.
They won the Sugar Bowl, and then like 3 days later, I was on campus.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so in your recruiting process, you never met him?
Nope. Maybe
No?
shook his hand, maybe once, but no, nothing.
Oh, okay.
I remember.
Yeah, I thought you guys would maybe interact in the recruiting process.
No, I talked to Jordan Reed a lot. I talked to Jordan Reed all the time.
Go ahead.
No, I asked that. I got a Jordan Reed question later. Go ahead.
You should have known something was funky there, Trey. You're like, wait. I'm committed as a quarterback. You're not going to let me talk to Tebow, but Jordan Reed's my guy. Like, Urban, what's happening here, my man?
No, it's all good. It's all good.
Trey, I want to ask you. So, your freshman year, you come off like a bat out of hell against that Kentucky game where you score 6 touchdowns. I think you tie a school record or set the school record. What was that like? I mean, as a freshman, you're scoring all over the place. What was going through your head?
You saved me a bet that game.
Yeah.
I got a friend named Marcus Williams, right? He's from Kentucky. He's a Kentucky fan. He played basketball there, and he bet me that game. He's like, this is the year we end the streak. And I was like, bro, you're out of your mind. He's like, y'all offense struggling. He's like, we're going to beat y'all. I said, bro, we just got more talent. And then you went bonkers, bro. And you saved me, I think, $300 that day because he was feeling good. And they had a good team that year. Like, that was a good game. Yeah.
They had Randall Cobb. Was Randall Cobb playing quarterback?
Randall Cobb, correct. Yeah.
He was playing everything.
Everything. Yeah, you're right. No, it was cool. I mean, I didn't really realize it, honestly, until I remember one of the times I scored and I sit down on the sideline and Mike Pouncey just comes up and like smacks my helmet or my shoulder pads. It was like, bro, you've just scored 5 touchdowns. And I'm like, damn, like I honestly had no clue. Like I don't remember because like it was every time I touched it, I was scoring because we were in that position, running the Wildcat and that type of stuff. But no, I'm just thankful for Herb. I remember there was some controversy on the sideline. Should we go for 6 or should we not? And he was like, no, he's going to score 6. And so he put me in the last couple plays to let me score the 6th one.
Now I'm getting I'm remembering that season now. Like, I'm getting a little comfortable in this conversation. Okay, so the season started. That was a wild season. The season started by man Pouncey rolling snaps. What was that like?
That was wild. Remember that, bro?
That was insane.
Yeah, there was a lot of Gator fans that were angry about this guy because his brother was obviously like an all SEC, all American. Then the first couple games, you're like, what is this? What's going on?
He bowled balls for like 2 games.
Yeah, 2 or 3 games. I don't remember what the problem was with that, but I mean, knowing him, I remember him grinding, and every time we're doing walkthroughs, normally you don't snap the ball during a walkthrough, but like he was making sure he'd get a couple. 2 or 3, 4 snaps. I mean, obviously he was a dog, one of the best to play at Florida. But that was a great. I forgot all about that. He did do that a couple times.
So that wasn't even
like moonshots, like way over the head.
Yeah, that was a wild gambling season for me. So I'm remembering all my gambling moments, like a little bit. So I remember betting the game with you. So I'm getting comfortable here. I remember that game, and like in the beginning of the season, we had this crazy thing of like moving him to center because his brother played center before, so he didn't play it before. And then he was rolling snaps, and that was Ladazio's first year at OC, correct?
Yeah.
It was a lot of things going on. It was like the beginning of the fall.
You remember how hot it was when we played USF at home week 2?
Yes. Yeah.
Boy, it was so hot.
A bunch of people say that was the hottest game they've ever been to.
It was hot.
A bunch of fans.
They said they ran out of water at the stadium, and they had to take people and drag them out to the give blood buses, and they were giving people IVs. They were passing out. Bro, it was so hot.
So wait, Pouncey wasn't like doing that stuff in practice? Like you just like showed up to a game and all of a sudden he's shooting like rainbow jump shots back to back snapping?
Yeah, I don't remember him doing it maybe once or twice, but it wasn't. I mean, the games were that it was we were so surprised because he wasn't doing that normally.
That's wild. That's crazy.
Trey, beyond that game, what are some of your other favorite memories that you have playing for the Orange and Blue?
Well, we beat Georgia that year. I think that was the only time I beat Georgia. That was when I think Sturgis got hurt, and they put Chaz Henry in the kick field goals, and he kicked the field goal in overtime to win it. That was the same game where Will Hill in overtime picked, I think it was Stafford at the time, or maybe Aaron Murray.
That was the longest interception return in like college football history. No touchdown. No touchdown. I was like, y'all, it's taking them forever to get there.
Yeah, that was wild. That was fun. I mean, we beat Florida State. I think my junior year, we should have went to the national championship that year. That was the year we lost to Georgia and had 6 turnovers in one game, which sucked. I don't know, man. Tennessee, I always beat Tennessee, always beat Kentucky. Those games are obviously fun as well. But I mean, there's so many good memories.
What was it like going from Urban Meyer, your first year there under Urban Meyer to Will Muschamp? Obviously, there's a big philosophy change, background change. But what was that experience like for you?
I think a lot of people would say the same thing. Like they love Muschamp. Like Muschamp is one of my favorite coaches, of all time, in the sense of like he's just such a player's coach. Obviously things didn't work out on the field, and he's always had a hard time, hiring offensive coordinators and that type of stuff. But he was just fun to be around.
Super passionate, man. Super passionate.
Oh man,
Yeah.
you love the guy, bro. Like he's
Sure.
dialed in. He's gonna fight for you no matter what. And the guy that's like, hey, come to the office and come hang out for a little bit, instead of like stay away and don't. You're not worthy to come and hang out. It's just a complete different culture change.
A lot of people think him being a defensive guy, he didn't really mess with the offensive players, but it sounds like he was just maybe not like game planning offense, but that it didn't matter what side of the ball you were on, that you were good champ.
I mean, you just never saw, unless it was like a team meeting, you never saw him, because he was so dialed in with like whenever we split to go offense defense, like he's gone, whereas Urban would stay in and hang out. So you didn't see him as much. Obviously, I would imagine he's a lot closer to the defensive guys, but he was still cool and wanted to get mixed in with offensive guys as well.
I had another question. What was is there any thought process to your number 8 when you were at Florida?
No, but I was number 13 the first 4 games, and something happened where like Urban wanted me to play more special teams, and so he's like, all right, we'll put him on kickoff. And D Finley was 13, and he was like one of our best special teams players, And so D and I had to meet, or we met with the equipment guy, and was like, hey, who wants to change your number? And D was a veteran guy, so I was like, I'll change mine, no big deal. And then I don't think I think 8 was the only single digit number available for the offensive side of the ball, and because Jeremy Brown had it as well, but he was a DB. Yeah. And so and he was not a lot of special teams. So I mean, I think that's kind of how we went about just being 8 and stuck with it. The same thing with high school. Like I started as a safety and I wore number 22, and then I didn't change it. When I was quarterback, I just kept 22. I don't know. Just didn't want my family to have to buy another jersey. Just cool with what we got. Right. Whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a crazy year of injuries as well. What was the vibes like when all the injuries started piling up? Like around the locker room, the morale of the team. That's kind of what did Muschamp in. I mean, even when the offense struggled, the defense was still good enough to win 10 games, right? Like we were still elite. So what was the vibes like when we started, like just when players started dropping?
Yeah, it's just tough, man. Anytime you have young quarterbacks, at any level, NFL, high school, college. I believe we had, was it Driscoll or Jacoby? I forgot. I think one of those two guys started. And man, anytime you have to get, first of all, you got a young starter and you got younger backups, and you got to get them in there to play. It's always tough. But man, our defenses were so damn good when Muschamp was there, bro. Like unbelievably good, and they had so much talent. And so I've been on a lot of teams, man, that have had really bad offenses but have great defenses. And I think I would say the same thing to the most part is like defensive guys always hold each other accountable, in the sense of like, we'll carry the load, we'll put the team on our backs. They got to do their jobs, play their responsibilities as well. And so I've been fortunate to be on a lot of really good teams where easily you could have split, and it could have been defense versus offense or, however you want to split it. But been around really good head coaches that have kept it, pretty even keeled. And everybody knows the writing's on the wall, like this is why we're not winning. But at the end of the day, all you can do is your job, and you can't really worry about what everybody else is doing.
You weren't concerned with like the injuries though? Like when players are just like career-ending injuries that off season?
Yeah, I remember specifically Easley got hurt, and maybe it was like week 3 or 4, or maybe it was training camp before. Easley was top, 3 or 5.
He tore his ACL. I think it was like training camp, like missed the whole year, right?
Yeah. But there's just not much you can do about that, like it's all. Yeah. What you gonna say? Like, no, I ain't going out there because I'm not trying to get hurt. Like this, you just got to go out there and do it. Some of that stuff they put you through, bro, in the summer, man. Like right now, the mat drills and stuff they got to go through. It ain't for everybody. I'll tell you that right now. It ain't for everybody.
No one talks about the mat drills. I've asked Tate Casey. He won't tell me. I've asked some other players. That seems to be like a fraternity thing. Like you don't talk about mat drills.
Yeah, you just got to experience it, bro.
I'll pass.
Nick does not want to keep him
I'll
around
pass.
another week.
only thing, bro, that I think is really funny now looking back at it is that call it you're there for an hour, right? You're in there for an hour. They play Sweet Home Alabama. They play Tennessee's fight song. They play LSU. Repeat nonstop, and you can barely hear the person next to you speak, and they're just blasting the music nonstop, and you're just running around, and it's hot as hell in the gym, and there's a bunch of mats everywhere. That's all you really need to know.
Okay.
All right. We're just gonna get part of the story.
Real quick question. I know we about to go into like some NFL stuff and like drafts, all that stuff real soon. So I want to ask another Muschamp question before we move forward. So you're moved on. You're in the NFL, right? You vibing. You probably, like who knows what your Sundays like them days or your Saturdays. You look at the TV and Muschamp is giving little bro Clay the business.
I was on the team there.
You still on the team? What was that like, bro?
I don't think it was his fault, honestly. I think something happened with the personnel, and Muschamp's a fiery guy, bro, and he just
For sure.
lost
That was
his mind,
Georgia too, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was Georgia. Yeah, that was a big one, and it was a big situation too, I think. And we had too many guys in the huddle, and he just lost his mind.
So
ain't much you can do about it. What you gonna do? You know what I mean? Like, damn.
Yeah, you just gotta sit there.
Wait, it was on Clay. Or was on Clay? Was Clay in the wrong or right?
I think he went into the huddle and didn't call the personnel loud enough, and the cat that wasn't supposed to be in there didn't come out, and so then Clay jumped in, and there's 12 guys in the huddle.
So
I
he
think that's what happened.
in.
Yeah. I think he was going in, or somebody went in for him, and they didn't say it loud enough. Someone didn't say whatever they were supposed to say loud enough to get the person out of the game that was supposed to be out of the game.
So okay, Muschamp's a fiery guy. So when he get in his bag of just chewing motherfuckers out, like what does everybody do? Y'all just vibe?
It happens to everybody. I mean, you can't name one person that didn't get yelled at like that, bro. And there's guys, multiple dudes that would just. And I don't even think he really says anything. He's just, with his head bobbing and his foot stomping. I don't really know if he. I don't think I couldn't tell you one thing he said when he was yelling like that. Just because it's just all so even keeled.
Right.
His voice doesn't go up or down. It's the same exact thing the whole entire time.
It's like through gritted teeth.
Yeah.
You just gotta hope that you're getting that at practice and not that the camera's catching you when it happens on the sideline. Because like you're saying it, Trey, like everyone's gonna get theirs at some point. You're just hoping that it's at one of the closed practices, not 3:30 CBS.
Yeah, you ain't lying about that, man. You ain't lying.
Trey, I had to step away for a second, but when you were talking about it before, or maybe you weren't. So I want to ask you, one of the guys that we don't often talk about on this, on the show very often, is just because his time is so short. But it was during your, I think, sophomore year. Charlie Weiss comes to University of Florida to be offensive coordinator. Lots of jokes were made about him. Obviously, as a guy that was, offensive coordinator with the Patriots, head coach of Notre Dame, and what was working with Charlie Weiss like from a player's perspective?
Great question.
I don't think we've ever asked anybody from your time what it was like to be with Charlie Weiss. But I mean, the images of him, Trey, while you think about it, was like him sitting on the cooler, right? Like just sweating his ass off. And we're just like, man, what was?
No, I never asked anybody what was Charlie Weiss like at University of Florida. That's a great question, Dan.
Well, he had a golf cart, so he would drive everywhere with the golf cart and stay in there. I think maybe the cooler might have been the first couple of days he was there, but then he graduated to the golf cart and went everywhere with there. But no, I mean, yeah, I don't have really many good things to say about him, so I don't really want to I'm not trying to blast the guy. You know what I'm saying? I had no relationship with him. Him and I didn't vibe very well. I will say, going into that was my sophomore year. That was Muschamp's first year. Going into my sophomore year, I decided that I wanted to play safety instead of playing quarterback. I went and told Muschamp that. He's like, yeah, cool. Make sure you clear it with Charlie. And so I go and talk to Charlie. And at first, I think he was like, all right, yeah, whatever, no big deal. And so I practiced 2 or 3, maybe 4 practices at safety behind Elam and all them, because Muschamp was the safety coach, right? So I'm back there, hanging out, whatever. And then I remember maybe after the first week of spring ball, Charlie brings me into his office and was like, hey, basically, long story short, put the Super Bowl rings down on the table, and he's like, "Hey, I need you to play offense. I need you to do this and do that and do all these types of things for me." Yeah, man. He had rings.
Real cornball, man.
That was his recruiting pitch. That was his recruiting pitch to a lot of the kids, man. Like, hey, this is what I've done. Why would you not come here? That type of stuff. But
did his rings did they say Weiss or did they say Brady on them? I don't know if they gave one ring out to everyone.
I mean, the bigger check right then is like, if you were Muschamp safety at that time, you about to get paid. Bro. Like that's you getting paid.
Yeah. No question.
How it shakes out.
No question, bro. But I mean, I don't know. So I ended up going back, obviously, to playing offense, and it was probably one of my worst years I've ever had from a football standpoint. So, but that's all. I mean, I don't really have much to say about him.
Yeah, I mean the whole offense. I mean, you could tell just didn't vibe with him. And glad that you were a survivor.
I told some crazy lies when we hired Charlie Weiss. I told the most craziest lies ever on Facebook. Like I was like, "Yo, we just got the guy that got Belichick like Super Bowls. Like we about to win it all."
Yeah,
didn't pan out.
That's what you think as a kid too. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You think the same thing as a kid, like, "Oh, we're about to be dialed in." But you got a whole. I mean, you want to talk about like Muschamp was one thing, like difference between him and Urban, but like Charlie's whole offensive scheme was the absolute polar opposite of what Urban and them did. So you got a pro style offense with a fullback with Charlie Weiss, and you got 5 wide spread, the most speed you can possibly put on the field, out there with Urban. So you got 2 completely different styles of ball, and then you got 2 different completely styles of players. You got kids that we didn't have a fullback on the roster. Like what's that? You take a defensive lineman on the goal line and put him back there and play fullback. But you didn't have a real fullback, on the team. So it was a tough fit.
Hunter Joyer came later.
Yeah, after that, yeah.
So who was it was Weiss and then who was it? And then Roper.
Brent
Peace. Oh yeah, Brent Peace from Boise State.
Yeah.
What was that like? I mean, what was your relationship like that with him? I mean, did it get better? I mean, what was?
Yeah. I think Peace, definitely was way better than Charlie. I think again, man, I think we had a young quarterback. At least his first year. I think that was Driscoll was for sure the quarterback then, and I think Driscoll got hurt that year too. That might be against
Tennessee.
Against Tennessee. Because we played Miami and then we played Tennessee and he got hurt, and then you had Tyler Murphy come in, and then Tyler got hurt. The next week,
Skylar Morningweg
and Skylar Morningweg was there. You know what I mean? So this is a domino effect. It's hard to win, when you have all that stuff going on from an offensive side of the ball. But people genuinely like Pease. He's definitely different, way different than Charlie was. But yeah, he was cool.
I got a Skylar Morningweg question. Skylar Morningweg got in a fight with somebody over some cleats. What was the defensive lineman?
That was Gerald Willis.
Yeah, Gerald
Willis. Gerald Willis.
Yeah, that was
right there for that.
That was a few years later.
I gotta find somebody that was there for that story. I gotta hear. I gotta get that one.
So I got that story from Jordan Sherritt. Jordan Sherritt was number 17. Skylar was number 17. Gerald Willis forgot his cleats like at the apartment. What's his name? So Sherritt told him, go grab my cleats. So he grabs a 17 cleats and they're Skylar's. Credit to Skylar. Gerald Willis is from not a good area in near New Orleans. Big 300-pound defensive tackle. And Skylar Morningweg grew up like the son of a millionaire NFL coordinator. And he went toe-to-toe with Gerald Willis. So I don't think it ended well for him, but props to you for trying to get your cleats back. props to you, bro.
That's
nuts. Man. Hey, you can't go out like that, Nick.
Listen, bro, I can buy new cleats. Go back. Hey, those are your cleats now, brother.
Hey, you don't even got mine. Give it to you for free.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm just going to talk to the trainer.
Nah, locker room culture, bro.
Like,
you can't let a guy just take your cleats. He took your cleats. It can't just be kosher, just vibes. You just get some new cleats, Nick.
Okay, listen. The punter grabbed my cleats.
Right,
I'm
Trey?
gonna have a conversation.
You gotta have a conversation about them cleats. You can't just take my cleats and just wear them every day in practice and it's just good vibes. Nah, bro, you got my cleats, man.
What do you mean? Jordan Sherritt's number 17. Those are his cleats. Those aren't mine. I got my cleats are on my feet.
Because the next day your gloves are gonna be gone. Right.
Right.
You ain't got no helmet. Like,
that's right.
Listen, bro, we're not at Alcorn State. This is the University of Florida. They got money. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna get new gloves. I'm gonna get new cleats.
You gotta stand your ground, Nick.
You got give somebody an inch, will take a mile, Nick.
That's why I was a baseball player. Because I'm not. Yeah, the cleats are yours.
Shout out to Skylar. Skylar rules with the shits. I like it.
Trey, I want to ask you, Silk mentioned it before, I want to get into your NFL career a bit. You go to the combine, unfortunately don't get drafted, but you get the opportunity to go and sign with the Eagles. And that's just the start of a great 7-year career in the NFL. What's that like going, not to bring up a sore subject, right? But to get undrafted, but then you kind of have your pick of teams that you want to go to. How did that whole process work? And what was going through your head then?
Bro, it's wild, man, because no one ever thinks they're not going to get drafted. You know what I'm saying? So, like, you don't have – I mean, you don't have a plan. If you don't get drafted, like, I'm like, well, what the hell do I do? You know, what you mean? like, I've done all this, and I'm not going to play in the league. And my agent's like, no, this is what's going to happen. You're going to get a couple calls, boom, boom, boom. You'll be able to figure out, there'll be a couple teams that are interested. And so, long story short, soon, like literally as soon as the draft's over, you just get nonstop phone calls. They call me, they call my wife, they call my agent, a bunch of teams just trying to figure out, try to get a guy to come play. I would say, like, if I had like 10 teams that wanted me to play, I would say 6 of them were probably just like rookie minicamp invites. So like rookie minicamps just like that weekend after the draft. And they might take, all the rookies that are drafted, all the guys that are brought in from the undrafted, and then, maybe a couple guys that don't have a vested year in the league, go to rookie minicamp. It's just like a 3-day deal, and then boom, they take like half of the guys and they get rid of them, and then half of the guys they keep on the roster to training camp. And so I knew I didn't want to do that. And I remember out of all the teams, Chip Kelly was the only head coach that called me at the time. And so I'm like, oh man, this guy's legit. Like he's telling me. I mean, they're gonna tell you what you want to hear, but he was like, hey, no, you legit have a chance. We like to carry 4 tight ends. We got 5 on the roster right now, but really only 3 are for sure in. So, I mean, you're going to have to win the 4th spot, but you have a legit chance. And so that's all I needed to hear. I didn't really look at the roster. I didn't even know who they really had on the team. I just said, okay, I'm coming. I'll be there. And so next day I was in Atlanta, which is crazy to me, bro. I'm in Atlanta with my family. My uncle put on this awesome, draft party. And I was supposed to fly out of Tampa the next morning at like 7 a.m. And I'm thinking to myself, like, bro, I got to drive. It's 3, 4 in the afternoon. I got to drive straight to the house, pack up everything I possibly can, put it in a suitcase, and then hop on the plane early in the morning. Now these dudes are getting like 2-3 weeks before they actually have to show up to the facility. I'm like, bro, if y'all only knew what I had to go through, bro, and had to speed all the way down to Tampa, bro.
No, I got rights now, man.
Yeah, that was miserable, bro. That was so bad. But yeah, I show up there, and I'm, just one of 90 dudes on the squad, and not knowing that they only dress 46 and they only have 53 on the team, but you got 90 guys, in the locker room. You have no clue.
What's that feeling like, though, man? You're a pro. Like, you just, like, I tell Ahmad this all the time, man. Like, making it to the NFL, that's the dream, right? Like, only the gladiators make it. People don't know, like, the smallest number of people that make it to even a tryout. Like, forget making a roster. Forget, like, getting, like, signed as an undrafted free agent. Like, getting, like, just making a roster. Like, that's hard shit to do, bro. What's that feeling like, man? You made it when you made it.
Well, I think, I always tell the young guys this, man, like all the rookies, especially the guys that are in my position, shoot, even the guys that are drafted, like during training camp, your rookie year, I mean, man, I guess any of the years, like, I don't really care if the Eagles want me to be on the team, but I know there's 31 of the teams out there that I have a chance to be on, you know what I'm saying? So, like, when I get my opportunity in the games, whenever we do these cross-team, scrimmages during the week or whatever it may be, and, like, I'm not going to get many reps in practice, but, like, I can do stuff before and after practice, that I can get better at, and I can work on that. And then whenever they need me to run scout team stuff, like, I need to do that because I need to work on myself. Like I said, I don't care how the guys in front of me do. Like, I need to work on myself because I'm going to make a team somewhere. Yeah. I don't know where it is. Like I said, I don't care if it's in Philly. I don't care, if it's in San Fran, but I know I'm going to be on a team. And if that's just playing special teams, then guess what? I'm going to be a dog on special teams. I'm going to be lead the league in tackles as a rookie. That type of stuff. That was just kind of my mindset because you can get. I mean, anything in life, bro. You can get so caught up in like where you at, like where do I rank? Where do I place? How am I doing? Everything's so like there's so much comparison in everything in life,
Correct.
And instead of like worrying about that comparison, like how can I get better in this time, and then let's figure out a way to make it. However I can make it.
It's all about the mindset, Trey.
Yeah.
How much do you think your background? I mean, like starting football, playing safety, quarterback, running back. How much did just your versatility? Because when you're talking about making an NFL roster like that, hey, you've got the guys who are making $20 million at left tackle, that guy's going to be on the team. But if you can fill 3 roster spots, because, hey, he's going to be on every special teams. He can run the ball if we need him to. He can catch the ball. And, shoot, if all of our quarterbacks get hurt, he can throw it a little bit. How much did that just play into you being able to make a roster? Like, hey, Trey can fill 3 different spots for us on this team.
I think it helped me a ton. I think, obviously, like I was saying, playing well when I had my opportunity. I remember my first time going into a preseason game. We might have been playing in Chicago, and fourth quarter, probably 4 or 5 minutes left in the game. Coach said, "Hey, go in. You get to play now." And we were all hand signals with Chip Kelly. So if I screw something up, I couldn't say, "Oh, he called it wrong." Like, nah, bro. Everybody looks at the sideline. They look at the same guy, and he tells you what formation they're in. So, boom, he does a formation. I get lined up. I get in my 3-point stance. I'm just running a go route, right? The quarterback snaps the ball. Whistle blows. They said illegal formation. I lined up in quads. Like, you can't run quads in the NFL. You can only run that in college. So there's 4 of us on one side where it's supposed to be just me, by myself on the other side. I just absolutely, completely screwed it up. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, every other time I was in there, I played pretty well. And so I made it really tough for Philly. That was like another thing in my mind, like, make it tough for them to cut you, make it tough for them to get rid of you. And so I was the last guy, like, literally on the roster, and I was either going to go to practice squad or I was going to be on the active roster. But I scored once or twice in the last game. We played the Jets at home, and no question I would have been picked up by everybody else, out there. So they kept me on the roster. And then week 1, I go in and I'm the backup on all special teams. I'm literally like a linebacker's backup on everything. And second kickoff of the game, he tears his pec and doesn't play the rest of the year. And I hop in there and I do, what I can when I get the opportunity. I started on special teams all 4 phases the rest of the year after that.
Are there politics at that level? When you start dealing with like money and there's some owners probably that want to, hey, I'm investing in this guy and he needs to be doing this. And how much did you see that in the NFL? Just the way that money gets involved and the way that politics and things shape, rosters.
There's politics on every level, bro. Pop Warner, you know what I'm saying? Every level. I mean, I got a daughter in gymnastics right now, about to play competitive gymnastics. You better believe there's politics in competitive gymnastics.
That might be even worse than the NFL, competitive gymnastics at that age.
Probably is. It sucks, man, because there's a lot of guys that should have got the opportunity, but because the GM made a mistake and drafted a kid who wasn't very good at all. There's multiple scenarios, specifically in Philly, that I remember were like, man, they're drafting these cats and they're coming in and you're like, man, they drafted this dude in the 5th round. Like, what is going on? What the heck? But they can't cut the cat because he's a 5th round draft pick, And so they try to develop him, try to play him. He ends up on practice squad, and the next year they usually get rid of him. But it happens a ton, man. And there's a lot of guys that deserve an opportunity. That's why I was kind of happy about these other leagues that were forming up because guys like, I'm specifically talking about my brother. Like, man, my brother was a dog in Buffalo for the couple weeks he was there. He was playing really well. He's running with the ones during training camp. And then boom, hurts his ankle, and because he's an undrafted dude, they owe him no money.
Yeah,
we'll catch you on the flip side. And then they don't need to bring any other tight end in the whole year, So then he gets the short end of the stick because no one saw him really play, during training camp, because obviously it's all kept private. And then boom, he gets hurt, saying, "Oh, we'll bring you back," and then the tight ends get hurt, and he never gets an opportunity. Whereas some other dude that probably shouldn't have been there, is out there because they got drafted high and the GM made a mistake.
Trey, I want to ask you, fast forwarding a couple years, the Eagles are in the Super Bowl, probably an incredible feeling, but then your number gets called for the illustrious Philly special. What goes through your mind when that play gets called, knowing what you're going to have to do, and then knowing that play is going to live in Philadelphia lore for the rest of history?
Honestly, bro, I didn't think much at all. Like we were coming out of a timeout, and for some reason we were late to get huddled up and late to get the personnel in. And I remember just standing on the sideline, and I'm standing next to my coach because I like to hear what the play is, going in every single time. And it was 4th down on the 2 or 3 yard line, and he goes, the personnel is called Cub, and he like grabs me like Cub, and like throws me in there. So I'm like stumbling, trying to get out there to the huddle. And I remember getting in the huddle, and we all like just got there right at the right time with a couple seconds left, and because you need a little bit of time because Foles has to go in motion and then get completely set, you know what I mean? And then the Corey Clement had to like shift over and get the snap. So I didn't have much time. I remember when we broke the huddle, one of the guys was like, "Philly special," like as if like he didn't know what to do. And so like I was like, "Yo, we're over here, come over here," and I was kind of talking to him while we were getting set up. the ball was snapped, and so I didn't have it. If it was like a thing where like we called it and then we called a timeout and then we're like, oh yeah, we're gonna run it, then I probably would have screwed up, you know what I mean, and definitely wouldn't have been anything of what it was. It probably would have been the worst play in Super Bowl history.
That's one. There's really no gray area. Like it's black or white there.
Especially in Philly.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to get into. We had Caleb Sturgis on last week, and we were talking about Philly fans. And he said basically like, if you're playing well, you do something good, no fan base in the world is going to love you the way that Philly fans will love you. You mess up, they threw snowballs at Santa. They're going to let you know that you messed up. Do you think you would ever pay for a drink or a meal in Philadelphia the rest of your life?
Yeah, I have for sure.
What?
But no, Philly fans are awesome, dude. I mean, the thing with Philly, man, and really a lot of these fans is that they don't really care if you screw up. It's more about like your effort, you know. Like if you screw up and they're like, you know, what the hell, then they're gonna be pissed off and be like, get this guy out of here. But if you're like, yo, I screwed up, but you still smack somebody, or you know, you make up for it some other way, like they show a lot of love, and they love guys who do that. Like, I mean, I think of somebody like off the top of my head, Jason Kelsey. You know, I think he should be a Hall of Fame center. You know, he's still there. He's played 10, 11, 12 years. He's made mistakes, you know, but bro, like he plays hard as all get out, and he's probably one of the most loved players in the history of Philadelphia just because of him and his effort and what he does and how real he is. And so I think if you go in there and you start, you know, you talk about like a Ben Simmons type of guy, you start beating around the bush and you know, you don't really have a reason, and you know, no one really believes what you're saying, and everybody knows, you know, what the deal really is. Like, then that's when they lose. You know, you lose a lot of respect and a lot of trust from them, and it's bad, man. You don't want to be on that side.
I can't. Trey Burton's paying for meals in the city center of Philadelphia. I can't believe it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not there much, but when I am, yeah, I kind of, I'm incognito, you know, one of these guys. I just want to have my good food, man. They got some good food in Philly, bro. Real good food.
He's at the Continental.
Best Philly spot in Philadelphia.
For what? Cheesesteak?
Yeah, cheesesteak.
I like Jim's on South Street.
Jim's is a spot.
There it is.
It's a good spot.
We had Sturgis on last week, and he's like
Pat and Gino's and that, but that's not
cool.
like if you're from Philly, that's the tourist spot. That's not where you're going if you live there.
Yeah. But if you do live there and your family comes in town, like you're gonna take them there. You know what I'm saying? Like just to check it out, and they're literally on the opposite side of the streets and just the whole vibe.
Yeah.
It's cool.
But Jim's
is it.
Yeah,
Dallas.
I didn't get your. I like to ask every player that come on here that makes it NFL. So after you got like your big check, like when you start feeling like, you know what I'm saying, you're okay, and like, what was your biggest splurge that you that you regret and you're a little embarrassed about?
I remember my first check was it was my signing bonus. It was $10,000, and I got the check and it was like $7,200. And I was like, what happened? What happened to my other $2,800? Like, they said 10,000, not 7,200. Like, what the heck? So I knew from then on, like, bro, I can't do nothing stupid with this because they're already taking
they already
a huge chunk of it. Yeah, they're already getting me off the rip. I mean, I would say, it just depends. I mean, this is not financial advice for anybody, but like, bro, when I bought my wife a car, it was a used car, and I didn't realize at the time, but like after your car hits, 35, 40, 50,000 miles and that warranty is up, like that's a wrap. It's all out of pocket after that. You know what I'm saying? So that was probably one of the dumbest things I did was just I tried to get too good of a deal and buy like badly timed, badly miles used cars that just were kind of downhill ever since then.
Cars always fuck us when we're young.
Man, they suck, bro.
Don't get mad, man.
They suck.
Bro, Trey learned the hard way that like before the check hits his account, like the agent gets their cut, Uncle Sam's taking his cut.
72 is egregious, man. If you got 10.
Boy, I was hurt.
You need all 10 of them things.
That's the only 10 I had.
Yeah, for sure. I feel you, bro.
No, the agent part sucks, bro, because they don't.
If I'm expecting 10 and they send me 72, I'm gonna be hot. Like, I'm short almost 3, baby.
You got the 72, and then you had to pay the agent on top of that.
Yeah,
so you thought you were getting 10. Thought you were getting 10, only got 72, and then it wasn't even 72.
Bro, the agent stuff sucks, bro, because they bill you at the end of the year. They don't know if you're gonna be on the roster or not. You know what I'm saying? So like, boom, you make $1 million, you're paying them 30 bands right off the rip.
Christ.
And it's not off of what you make. It's not off of what you get. It's what you make. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like, so boom, you make $1 million, you're really making 500, but you still got to pay the agent 30,000. You know, like I don't know,
Oh, I see.
it's wild, and you don't think about that when you first show up. You're like, oh, well, okay, well I got 500, so I'm gonna pay him off of the 500. But no, it ain't like that. It's off of what you make.
That's when you got to hit him with the Kevin Hart. You're like, you see the way my checking account and my savings account works. I only have this. And then you guys, was it a shock or did somebody tell you guys only get paid during the season, right?
Yeah, I mean,
like
you don't
training camp.
You've never got paid before, so you don't really know what to expect, And then like when the season's over, you're like, oh damn, I don't get no more money, And then you have to wait till a player performance comes around in March, and you get a decent sized check depending on how much you played. But yeah, man, it messes you up. I'm not gonna lie, the first year or two, try to budget all of that stuff,
Right.
After Philadelphia, after you guys win the Super Bowl, you do get an opportunity to sign that big contract with Chicago. What was that like to finally? I mean, obviously you had a couple years in the NFL, you did well, but that was the big one. What was that? What was that experience like for you?
Yeah, man, it was a huge sigh of relief. I felt like after my first year, I proved to myself that I could play. Like that's always been my thing. Like I remember my first time in the swamp when I was a sophomore. I told you guys I went to that quarterback camp. I remember I walked in the swamp for the first time, and I remember I called my mom immediately and said, "Hey, I can't do this. Like, I'll never be able to play at a place like this. Like, this is too grand for me. The facilities are ridiculous. There's 50,000 students on campus. Like, there's the best kids in the country here. Right now at this quarterback camp." And I remember doing that. And obviously, as I got a little older and junior and senior in high school, I realized like, oh, no, I can legit have a chance to do this, and I got the offer obviously as well. But then you get to the league, man, and you're like, I'm just trying to make it. I'm ignorant to everything. I don't know what's going on the outside of me, bro. But I know, like, if I get to step on that field, like, I'm going to do the best I can. And so my first 2 years, I was just strictly playing special teams, right? And I remember I had an older tight end named James Casey, who's actually a tight end coach for the Bengals now. He was like, hey, listen, bro, you need to do everything you can to get on a team, but you need to get that special teams label off of you. Like, you don't just be a special teams player. And, like, that's the worst thing you could possibly do, because after year 2, if all you can do is special teams, you have no more value than special teams, and you're only going to get paid special teams money. You know what I'm saying? And so I respected the heck out of that. Like, yo, thanks for being honest with me and keeping it real with me. So then during practice, I'm on scout team, and I'm going against guys like Malcolm Jenkins, and I'm trying to route Malcolm Jenkins up him and I are going at it, bro, every single time. And I had Sanchez as quarterback, and we'd be in the huddle, and they put the card up to like run this play, and Sanchez would be like, I'm throwing it to you. I'm like, all right, let's do it. And I worked on my craft and on my skill for year 3 and year 1 and 2 during scout team. And so then boom, we had a new head coach. Doug Peterson came in, and he wanted to run more of a 3 tight end scheme, and we were just killing people with 3 tight end stuff, because me, Selleck, and Ertz we were interchangeable for the most part. So it really put a lot of stress on the defense. And so after year 3, I had a couple touchdowns, had a couple catches. I'm like, man, I might have a chance after year 4 to sign a deal, And so that's when me and the GM started going back and forth. He's like, hey, we want to sign you. What do you want? I'm like, well, I want this. And he's like, oh, well, we can't do that. And I'm like, all right, well, we'll figure it out. And so they ended up putting they call it a tender on me. It's what only undrafted guys can get, because you're not a free agent until you have 5 years or 4 years of credited seasons under your belt. So you can't technically be a free agent. Yeah.
That's insane. I didn't know that. That's crazy.
Yeah. So maybe it's 3 years, because the 4th year is your tender year. So if you don't have 3 years of eligibility, basically, which is 6 games, then you can't be a free agent, like a free agent. Then you're a restricted free agent. So long story short, instead of getting into all the technical stuff, I remember him and I were about to play in a preseason game, me and the GM, and we're sitting on the field. And he said, what do you want? We want to keep you. I said, this is what I want. This is what you gave the guy before me. I'll take this happily and walk away. He says, we can't do that. And I said, okay, well, I'm gone. Like, I'm not staying here anymore. And then boom, the rest of the year played out. I had a great, year. Obviously, we won the Super Bowl, which was really beneficial to me. And then ended up, being able to go to Chicago. But I knew I had a chance to do that. It's just like the politics and, getting pushed back and not really being able to play like to my full capacity, because I was behind Ertz and Selleck, and the only time I really got to play was when Ertz or Selleck got hurt, and I hated that, because they're my boys, and they've been nothing but phenomenal to me. So it's really complex, and there's a lot of things that go into it.
That's great advice, because like as I was saying before, and I asked you like how you were kind of able to do so many things to get on a roster, but you never really think that, hey, you don't want to get stuck with that label. Like, you might make a team. You might make a team for being able to play on special teams. And like you said, you're on all 4 teams. But then if you become just that, then you're only getting that money. And then you maybe just start bouncing around. And, you're on 3 teams in a year only playing special teams because you become expendable in their minds.
It's a tough spot for like guys like me. They call me like a tweener. Like I'm not really a tight end. I'm not really a wide receiver. I'm not a fullback. So like I don't really necessarily have a position. There's a ton of guys on defense. Especially linebackers and outside linebackers and like safeties.
Yeah.
They're all for the most part the same. Some of them might be a little bigger, a little faster, that type of stuff. But there's not much that separates people from certain positions. And so like man, he was like, once you get this label as a special teams player, bro, like it's almost impossible to get. And then you got to play at that same level. From a special team standpoint, the rest of your career, or else, that 1 year you have off, you're gone.
Yeah.
Well, boys, any more questions? I mean, this was a hell of an interview, Trey.
Nah, man, great vibes, man. What you been up to these days? What bro got going, man? You good? You got PTSD from that argument? Like,
he good.
You good? All right,
cool,
cool,
yeah.
man.
They just won a state championship this year, so he good. Real good.
He coaching.
Yeah, at the high school, yeah.
That's what's up.
Well, Trey Burton's a dad now. You said how many kids you got? You said you got the girl going in gymnastics.
Man, I'm an old dad, bro. I got 3 kids. I got a 9-year-old, a 7-year-old, and about to be 5-year-old.
These boys not going raw like that, Trey. They ain't got no kids.
No. Trey, where are you back in? Like the Venice area, or?
I live in Tampa. Yeah.
Okay.
Tampa.
Cool.
We love it here, man. There's a lot going on. It's a cool little spot. City's blowing up, so it's been fun.
Yeah. We'll have to get together. I'm over here on Harbor Island, so.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
You fish?
Oh my God!
I do.
You asked the wrong guy about a boat, bro.
Yeah, we'll link up after this, Trey.
Silk's Yelp review of Dan's captaining is not going to want to
it's great vibes.
No.
It's great vibes. Great vibes.
So
but he loves his water
Trey, I'll
boats.
hit you up after this. We'll get out on the boat. We'll go fishing. We'll do whatever. We'll head down to Beer Can.
Cool. Sounds good.
I've never seen them fish on the boat, but
we'll if we go on my boat, we fishing, bro.
All right, cool.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, I got you, bro. I can fish too, man. Shout out to Trey. All right, Trey, hold it down, bro.
Trey, I got one more for you.
Oh, go ahead.
Hold it, got hostage, Nick. Go ahead.
Sorry. What's your relationship like with Florida now? Obviously, since you've been gone, the coaches have changed so much. What's your relationship like with Florida, the university, and maybe with Billy Napier and the new staff, if there is one yet?
It's great, man. Honestly, I couldn't ask for a much better relationship. I'm the only former player on the booster board, so I got on that probably like 3 years ago. Just wanted to stay involved, with what's going on. A lot of times, a lot of these schools, man, you got people with money that are a little older that aren't really in check and don't understand the vibes of what's going on. So I don't understand why I was the first one, but just with reaching out and being around, like, yo, let me help out in any way I possibly can. So great relationship. I mean, Napier and I have talked, before in the past, probably like a month ago. He's reached out, so they know whatever they need from me, man, just give me a shout and we'll make it work.
That's dope.
Awesome, brother.
See y'all, boys. Hey, have a good night.
Trey, it was a pleasure chatting with you, man. We'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, much love, y'all. Talk to you soon.
Thanks, Trey.
Bro.
See ya.
Look at that. If Dan wouldn't have dropped the ball for so long, we would have had that great interview
That's nuts.
a year ago.
What is going on? Like, Dan's just holding like legendary like Gators in like the holster. Life is good at Stadium Miguel.
That was a great interview, man. Trey was awesome.
It was like 50 minutes of just incredible
This is
stuff.
a great episode, man. This is good content.
Bro, before we cut to Gavin Dickey, Dan was like, we'll get back into recruiting, and now I'm sitting up here looking. We've been going 2 hours.
Yeah, 2 hours and 3 minutes, and we've been tossing watermelons, been on doing all sorts of stuff. Silk, you didn't ask him about who had the best hands on the team, so
I didn't want to
save that for interview part 2.
Might have been him.
Who, Trey?
Maybe he threw hands. You don't know.
No, don't strike me.
He
As
doesn't seem like a hand thrower.
No, he seems like a team gatherer guy.
Yeah,
like, peaceful, break up the fight. He seems like the guy that puts together when they do the players only meeting. He's the guy that puts together the players only meeting and shit when shit really is going bad. Like, that's the type of guy.
He sends the group chat.
Yeah. Like, hey, bro, we gotta get together, man. No coaches, just us.
Yeah.
Now,
no
now
Charlie
I
Weiss.
Now I wish
no Charlie Weisses.
Now I wish we would have had this conversation. Trey would have been like, "All right, Silk, let's meet up. We're gonna go on Dan's boat, and we'll see how I can throw hands." Or if I'm
we changed this up. We're going on his boat.
I don't want to fight. I don't want to fight anybody that's suited up for the Florida Gators. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Guys are phenomenal athletes. You know, like I'm old. You know, not old, but older than them. Like they're in better shape.
Dude, it's nuts. You know, when he was talking, I was just thinking about his time at UF, going from Urban Meyer to then Charlie Weiss, and I was just like, man, I don't think we've ever asked anybody about Charlie Weiss, but man, what a disaster.
I try to personally forget that he ever put on a Gator polo.
Forget that 1 year.
And so Dan brought him up. I forgot that he ever coached it. So Dan just brought him up, bro.
Dan painted the picture perfect, because if I close my eyes and think of the Charlie Weiss tenure at Florida, he's sitting on that water cooler with a headset on.
That's exactly what he's doing, right?
That's it.
He had oversized khaki. He had his fupa area, and he had that like ugly orange and blue like clashing shirt that he wore.
I'm gonna tell you what
apparently
I told my friends.
Golf cart took him to the cooler, and then the golf cart would pick him back up at the cooler and take him to his locker room.
Right. Shout out to the golf cart. That golf cart earned this goddamn salary. I'll tell you that.
Oh my gosh!
But man,
guys, we've been going.
We didn't even ask him. He played for 4 different coordinators: Weiss, Adazio, Weiss, Pease, and then was he there for Roper?
I don't think he was there for Roper.
Okay, so 3.
Yeah.
He had to call it quits by then.
Pease. I just looked him up. He's the wide receivers coach at the University of Montana. If you guys are wondering,
a lot about him too. A lot about all of them.
Not a lot of people.
Everybody lied about Brent.
The only person
finally the Boise State guy.
Right. The only person I didn't lie about was Adazio. I knew that was going to be Buns. I just knew that was going to be a Buns. I was like, what is Urban Meyer doing? Anywho, Brett Peace, Charlie Weiss, I lied about that.
We got in our bag with Kurt Roper. We got
Kurt
a
Roper.
Cutcliffe guy.
Oh my God,
we're going to be saved. He's turning it over.
I told some lies. Man, was he terrible.
What a time that's back when Twitter was a little bit more wild too, you know?
Are we back at Perkins?
Yeah, we're back at Perkins.
All right, come on.
So yeah, almost an hour and 45 minutes later, we're back at Perkins. So your thoughts? Let's give a take on where he signs. You think he signs with Florida?
I already gave that take. We'll see, man. It's Louisiana, you know, and it's gonna be a roller coaster ride. Y'all gonna hear this tomorrow. It's gonna be Tuesday, all the way until he signed that paper. It's gonna be roller coaster rides updates. What do you got for me, Nick? You reading your phone? You hit up Corey? What do you say?
No, I'm not gonna throw Corey under the bus. I was just sending out a tweet. That was an elite interview with Trey. I'm still buzzing off that one. That's good.
Good vibes, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, look, Silk's vibes coming into the show have been infectious. Now everyone's in a good mood.
Hey, man, we good at this. I'm gonna be honest with you. We're pretty good at this, bro.
I'm not gonna toot my own horn, but pretty good at this, huh?
Not my horn, our horn. It's a collective horn, man. We're pretty good at this, man.
One horn.
One horn, one sound.
It's interesting. So, same horn, same time.
Yeah. There you
go. It's interesting because I love how people overreact to everything on social media, and
right.
I don't know anyone that's ever had a bad official visit. So like the Gators Online message board was freaking out because Perkins was having a good time on IG Live and having a good time on his IG story. It's like, listen,
how dare him?
How dare except for that one guy who had to put the video out with him and Brian Kelly on the rotating thing. I think that might be the first bad official visit in the history.
Nut the butt. That was nut the butt. You can't go nut the butt.
Leave it there. But yeah, I think Florida feels good. I think LSU probably feels good. Maybe Texas A&M is the only one, you know, the school that he was actually committed to. The only one that doesn't feel good.
They pieced out.
They pieced out. Their recruiting class is like damn near 30 already. So
30.
But I think Florida.
You're talking people, 30 people.
Yeah. Like they have a large recruiting class. So oil money is
historically good though. Like this was one of the best classes all time.
One of the best classes of all time.
I think they had 6 5-stars. So that's pretty pretty good. So Nick, you have to put your prediction in. Lock it in.
I'll lock him in with my extensive knowledge of recruiting. I'll lock him into Florida.
Wow, I thought you were gonna let the fans down, Nick. You're usually the one that comes with the
Yeah, he don't even like
realistic.
you.
Usually the
Okay.
voice of reason. Yeah, I know.
No, I wouldn't say that. Usually the voice of skepticism, the voice of
Haterism.
angering the fan base.
Yeah.
I angering the fan base.
Yeah.
You be
When?
hating a little bit.
I'll bring it up
the
next
streets
week. Yeah, I'll bring it up next week. I too, I'm going to go on the camp of him coming to Florida. I think that there's a lot of opportunity. I think he's got great relationships. I think his mom really is connected to the University of Florida. So I'm going to go with Florida. Certainly could be wrong, but that's the pick that I'm going with there. And I hope that they get him. You know, Florida desperately needs some linebacker help. I think that he sees the opportunity to come in and make a big impact right away. I think that he's a guy that can play from day one. And Florida could really use him. I think that they've played their recruitment really well with him. And right now I think that they sit in the driver's seat for him, and we'll see in 2 days. So let's get into Jacoby Matthews, another Louisiana guy that has a great relationship with Corey Raymond, has been recruited by Corey Raymond, you know, from his time at LSU, you know, is a 4-star guy on all the websites, anywhere ranked from, you know, the mid 30s to the low 70s there. But looking at a Florida LSU battle again for Jacoby Matthews, 6'2", 193 pounds. You know, Silk, any thoughts there?
Yeah, hopefully we can make some another Louisiana school very, very mad, man. But Jacoby Matthews, I think, is a guy still up in the air as we're recording right now, Monday night. I think he's a little 50-50. If you follow him on Twitter, you got to see him tweet at a I think it was a senior day clip of like a kind of like some film breakdown. And he added our defensive coordinator in that tweet and talked about development. Fresh off a Louisiana LSU visit, so I think we're on his mind. LSU's a big pull for those guys that are from that area, so you can't just get too confident, too happy. But I think our staff being from Louisiana, I think they put on a good presentation. I think the visits went great. Mm-hmm. I think we're still on these kids' minds on a Monday, fresh off of an LSU visit. That's a good sign. Mm-hmm. We'll see how it plays out. You don't want to get too happy because it's LSU. That's a big pull. These kids are from there. They dream of playing there. You know, that's a big pull. Mm-hmm. But obviously we've done a good job in that recruitment, and I think we're in it, man. I think it's a little 50-50 with Matthews at this point.
Yeah, Florida would not be in this without, you know, Napier, Tony, and then obviously Corey Raymond, the relationship with Corey Raymond going back to LSU. I think it's tough, and kind of like echoing what you said there, Silk. Like, you never are gonna feel good about a kid from Louisiana until like Florida sends out the tweet, which means like the national letter of intent has been signed and passed compliance. You're not gonna feel good about it. I think right now, if I had to put, you know, a pick in, it would be LSU. But I also agree with you, Silk. Like, fresh off of a visit, an official visit to LSU, Gators are on his mind. If Florida can get Jacoby Matthews to commit, that's a huge credit to Corey Raymond, Patrick Toney, and Billy Napier.
Well, I mean, I think it's a huge credit for both of these guys, and I'm not the type of person that says if you come in second, you did a great job and you tried hard and that's a win. I'm not a big moral victory guy when it comes to recruiting, but you know, Florida wasn't involved really in the recruitment of either of these guys 2 months ago, and the way that Florida made up ground. Yes, you can look at prior relationships, but you're also selling a school, you're selling a program, and to be able to come and fight this hard. You know, I also think Jacoby Matthews is going to probably go to LSU, but the fact that you got this far, I mean, I think shows the tenacity and potentially how good this recruiting office can be. Our recruiting staff can be, you know, moving forward. You know, I think a lot of what you expected out of this recruiting class was to fill in some gaps and try to get, you know, some higher ranked guys if you could, maybe get a 4-star or a couple in there, but to go in and grab a guy like Kamari Wilson and keep the commitments of Shamar James and Chris McClellan, and then be, you know, neck and neck and potentially even leading for Harold Perkins and Jacoby Matthews, you know, really, you know, shines a light on what this recruiting staff could be.
No doubt.
All right, boys. It's the end of the show. Silk, I think you got Song of the Week this week, but we also have a Manscaped ad read. So
yeah, bro, that's a lot. You give me a lot of tasks at one time.
I sure do.
I should have been more
Valentine's
prepared.
Day is coming. So
yeah, you need perfect time to groom the man region. Shout out to the great folks at manscaped.com. The best of the best when it comes to preparing for Valentine's Day. Fellas, it's on you now. Like, you can't wait on her to get you this as a Valentine's Day gift because you got to be prepared for Valentine's Day, right?
mm-hmm.
If you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. You can't wait to get the gift, and then she ain't got the gift. Then you kind of screw, and then you're bushy on Valentine's Day, and you kill the vibes, fam. So go ahead and visit manscaped.com. Get that Lawnmower 4.0. Use coupon code SG at checkout for 20% off, free shipping, and be ready for Valentine's Day, man. Don't show up bushy and all out of, like, you know what I'm saying? Kill the vibes with that, man.
Oh, man. Well, boys, another great episode. Absolutely appreciate Gavin Dickey and Trey Burton for joining us this week. We will see you all at the same corner, the same time next week.
Who's got the song?
I'm trying to figure out what song I want to play, Nick. I'm
Okay.
not prepared. Hey, let me get Her. I like Her's new album, Her. If you don't listen to Her, great vibes. Let me get I Can Have It All, Her featuring Bryson Tiller.
Very good. Boys.
Same corner, same time. You know the vibrations. Hey, if you're not coming to the Kush House on Wednesday, we are streaming on YouTube. Go to the Kush. I'm sorry. Go not to the Kush House. If you can't make it to the Kush House, go to the Roll Ups YouTube page. Subscribe. Follow us on TikTok, IG. Same thing. We're gonna get some Stadium Miguel vibes going. Follow us. Check us out. We're gonna be real loud on Silent Day. We're trying to kick some vibes, man. I appreciate everybody.
Absolutely.
Same corner, same time, baby.
Shout out to Stadium and Gale listener Nick, who I ran into at Total Line over the weekend.
I think I had a shout out. Hold on, man. Shout out my man JP and my man Larry. Faithful on the timeline, giving us big love, man. JP gonna give me a video every week, man. Like, just giving it up, man. I think he does a Stephen A video every week. And my man Larry Gator is always holding us down on Twitter.
Oh, he sure is. And then
big shout outs, man.
And shout out to somebody that my dad knows that said he listens to the show every week. Didn't know which one of the hosts was my dad's son. He narrowed it down to two. But
which two? Which two did he narrow it down to?
It's me and you, Nick.
Yes, okay.
Oh man! But shout out to him and thank you everybody for listening. Your
son has a smooth voice, man.
Subscribe on YouTube at Stadium and Gale. And if you can, rate and review us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. That really helps us. We appreciate you listening each and every week, and we'll see you guys next week.
Already.